This is Barefoot Brady with Believe in the Run, and I wanted to give you guys a quick trigger warning. This episode contains conversations about eating disorders, so listen at your own risk.
Give a good stretch, got my laces tied. My trusty podcast by my side. If you want to talk run, it's the place to be. Yeah, it's the drop, D-R-O-P.
So usually on the special guest podcast, we don't do the, hey, this is Thomas and all that. So we'll just jump right in. Megan, why don't you introduce our guest today?
Well, today we have a special guest, Charlie, who drove up from Charlotte just to hang out with us on this lovely Saturday. He brought...
Can we talk about how he reached out to us and maybe piqued our interest in people? If you ever want to be on the podcast, this might be the way to do it.
I mean, essentially, I think what got us is you sent a photo that was equivalent to our shoe wall, but instead of shoes, it was bottles of whiskey.
Yeah, that's been a decade, 2 decades labor of love building that room out. But from my perspective, that was never the goal. I think that was actually even in the follow-up after you guys had gotten back to me.
Yeah, you basically said, hey, can I send you guys a bottle or something? Just appreciation, I guess. And I was like, this is kind of fascinating. He's got all these bottles. And he runs. This might be worthwhile to have him on the pod and talk about it while we drink some of his whiskey.
Well, whiskey's made for sharing. So happy to bring some. Was happy to send some. For me, you know, I've been running for my whole life, basically. And
from the law?
Yeah, from everything, honestly, from my demons, mostly.
Carl knows what you're talking about.
But for me, it came from a negative place for a lot of my background in running. That was like only half a joke. And finding the podcast, seeing the love you guys have for it, getting into the gear side of things, really helped me get to that next step where it's running from a place of love, running from a place of happiness. And so just having to check in with you all every week, having that be part of my ritual, is like, I got to give something back to these people.
Ah, sweet. Now, let's get back into the running just a little bit and do some backtracking. Meg, where do you want to start on this?
Yeah, you said you've been running your whole life, so talk to us about when that actually started.
Wow, it was probably honestly, maybe 5 years old. So my dad was a runner. He ran the New York Marathon in the 80s, I want to say, or early 90s.
Probably has good gear.
Yeah, if only I could find some of that, right?
Some of those old race shirts.
But I was like a big kid. I'm wearing my high school cross country shirt. I've been this size since I was 11.
Oh, wow.
Oh, geez.
And so I was not athletic. I was not coordinated. I didn't like sports. And my dad was always wanting me to get into running. So when I was little, that was his way of trying to get me to stay in shape. And I was growing up in Florida. It was 100 degrees and it was just miserable out there. Hated every minute of it. But I was running.
That's rough because I guess in Florida, at least you have sunny weather, but I think it's just as hard for the guys in upstate New York who are doing cross country in the fall and it's freezing cold and all that stuff. But man, so was it pressure from your dad? Did you feel like it was a one way to connect with him or?
When I was little, it certainly was not a way to connect with him. Later in life, that's one of the most things we talk about these days is running. And it's definitely become a big bridge. But yeah, it was a little hectic when I was little. It's had my weight on the wall and my runs on there and having weigh-ins and it just wasn't a healthy relationship.
So it wasn't it's like wrestling almost.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think they've weighed the kids nowadays. I don't think either of the boys.
It wasn't for school. That wasn't a requirement. It was just to keep track of me being fit.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is inside your own house?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I hated running growing up as well. I did not have those pressures that you're talking about. And I actually loved team sports. So soccer and the sports that involved running, it was when you were distracted, the running part was fine. But just thinking of people that would sign up for track or cross country, I was in what world would you just run hard for long periods of time? So I can't imagine adding that layer of pressure from your dad, and yet you still have found a love for it now.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I'm probably projecting from my memories of it as a kid and everything. But like my oldest brother was a collegiate soccer player.
Okay.
My middle brother is like insanely talented surfer who's traveled the world surfing. And then I was like a computer geek who liked math. And so like,
Started running.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, get out there and run. And I signed up for cross country because one of my buddies was like, I just thought it was the funniest thing ever. He's like, I think the rules say you can wear Heelys. And I think I'm just going to go out there and wheel it and see how fast I can go. And I was like, this is too funny. I got to just watch this guy do this. And that's how I ended up on the cross country team pretty much.
So crazy. Like, I always feel almost a little sorry for the people who ran when they're young because you're peaking your paces early on. Like, if you start running later, you get that little high of like, oh, I'm going to start off at this pace, and then you PR, and as you add in speed work, then you PR some more. But if you're from the high school and stuff like high school running, and then you get to this level, and it starts to like be harder, like no longer running that for something 50 mile or whatever.
I've never done that.
Never done that.
I'm definitely faster now than I was in high school,
Oh,
which
that's
is nice.
great.
Yeah.
All right, so you're not having that like demons of the past.
But there is always the restarting because you're like, well, I could do this. Or like even more for me now, I'm going through a knee injury. I constantly have knee injuries. And it's like, I could just go and it didn't matter. I could put as many miles as I wanted. I could go out having not trained. And like most of the half marathon distances I ever did were unplanned. I was just like, oh yeah, it's like Tuesday. I'm going to go for a run. I'm feeling good. Let's just go to 13. And you're like, the furthest I'd run before that was 5 ever. You could just do that.
So you started out running when you were 5, maybe not by choice, but it's how it happened. And then do you continue running through middle school, high school afterwards? Or is there a big break?
Sort of on and off,
Okay.
I'd say. Yeah, always kept coming back to it. But it was, again, from that place of like weight management and like body image management, and definitely led to an unhealthy relationship with it where it was like, got to push yourself, got to try and get those goals. et cetera.
What age was that happening?
Starting in college, post-college, and yeah, not to get too personal on it, but like developed into an eating disorder, got into
That's what
it.
I was going to ask, because
Yeah.
this sounds like it was pretty central to some of the things that you were doing. And clearly, like, as a child, like, I wasn't tracking weight. And you go through, just through puberty and stuff, you go through fluctuations and changes. Like this, we talk about it with women a lot. But I think especially in running, where light does make a difference, and a lot of times people don't want to talk about it, but if you drop weight, you do get faster. It's kind of like hand in hand, but
You also break easier, and there's like it's a real balance that's hard to navigate.
But I think there's more guys struggling with
100%
it
that we
than
just don't
we
talk about it.
I
Yeah.
think that we hear about it with women because it's almost okay to talk about. Where with guys, I think we're all like, hey, let's just not talk about it and just try to get skinny however you can. And it is like, you're like, okay, what do I do? Run more miles? Okay, I'm running more miles. I'm still not dropping weight. Okay, do I need to cut my calories a little bit? Like, what were the things that you were doing to kind of pursue like a weight goal?
Yeah, I mean, it was all of it. It started with cutting calories, changing my diet. Obviously, for running, not great. Cut out carbs entirely. I didn't eat carbs for 3 years.
Paleo?
No, it was the 4-hour body diet. I don't know if you
don't know
remember
about
that. That was like
No.
a fad thing where 6 days a week you had 0 carbs at all, like nothing. And then 1 day a week you ate as much of everything as you wanted.
Were you running during this?
Yes. Was weightlifting 5 or 6 days a week and was running 3 or 4 days a week, and lost like 45 pounds as part of it, but definitely not healthy weight. And then I had body dysmorphia, so I couldn't see the progress I was making either, and kept wanting to push and got down to like just over 140 pounds.
Wow. And how tall are you?
6 foot.
Jeez.
And was like so mad at myself that I couldn't break that 140 pound number.
And at the same time, you're trying to break other goal numbers for the running. And
Yeah, trying to break numbers around.
numbers
break
are your
numbers.
enemy.
Yeah, well, and working like 90 hours a week in Manhattan, and like just not healthy on any aspect of my life at that point.
So what was there like a moment or something that happened that you realized maybe this lifestyle was not great?
I started getting help. The tipping point for me was when I went from not eating much to bulimia. And at that moment, it was like, all right, this is clearly a line in the sand that I know I shouldn't have crossed. I need to actually take steps to address this.
Not to make light of the bulimia, but I guess whiskey would also help with that.
I don't know if I was into the whiskey like this at that point. I actually probably wasn't drinking much at all because I was just like so focused on the weight stuff. Yeah. But yeah, whiskey actually is one of the things that did help. And I don't mean that as like a drinking disorder aspect, but it was like something to focus my OCD at was learning and collecting and trying and cataloging and like just shifting that energy from tracking calories to tracking bottles.
So we know there's Strava for running. Is there an app for whiskey that is similar, like where you can like, this is what I tasted, this is what...
I think people would be scared if they actually realized how much they were tasting, you know?
No one wants to track that.
Yeah, it's like, but there's like whiskey base where you can log all of what you have, but it's not down to like what you were drinking that day and all that.
I think that'd be amazing, like Strava for whiskey.
I think you got an idea here, Thomas.
Yeah, I'll just get on Claude later and be like, write that out.
2 seconds later, man.
Yeah.
So when you were working 90-hour weeks, you said, what were you doing?
I was in consulting.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in consulting.
I never know what that means.
It doesn't mean anything.
Okay.
That's the best part. It
whatever
means
you want it to
whatever
mean.
you want.
People came to me and they asked me a question. I answered, that's consulting.
Pretty much, yeah. You go in. There's all kinds of different consulting. I've worked in a few different shapes and flavors of it. There's the kind where your job is to analyze numbers. You're like super quant heavy. You're looking for patterns, correlations, and you're trying to derive causalities from that to help companies. That's like pretty intense. A lot of them don't do that. Most of it's like CEO therapy.
Yeah.
You're just there to like, you go in and you ask them smart questions and you hear what they want to hear. And then you just find a way to spit it back to them so they think it's coming from you and now they're validated and they're just out doing it. Yeah.
The Tony Robbins over here. Well, again, that sounds like a numbers thing. It sounds like what you were doing was like, are you like into like, are numbers your thing?
Kind of, but more by like practice. I don't know. It's not like I'm not a great mathematician. Like got as far as calculus 1 and I tapped out.
But like it seems like you would track. I mean, obviously you're tracking weight. Then you're tracking kind of like the nuances and the stuff that you have with the whiskey and getting into the making and the details with that, and then going to consulting and working in numbers there. It seems like there's a pattern, no?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. And looking for patterns is definitely a big part. So that's like my specialization within consulting was looking at market research and finding patterns in consumer behavior to help companies either develop new products or figure out better ways to tell the stories of their products to connect with those consumers based on like the emotional triggers and stuff we could pull out of survey data.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So you mentioned that now your relationship with running is quite different and maybe you like it, enjoy it versus it felt maybe more like a punishment or just for means to an end before. How did that change? Yeah,
I think there are a few like for sure things that changed it. And the biggest one was finishing a marathon. Okay. I had that as a goal since college it was something I thought I should be able to do. And I didn't know anything about easy runs. I didn't know anything about like pacing strategies. I didn't know anything about fueling. And so I tried like 3 or 4 different times, got injured, obviously a bunch of times.
During training,
yeah. There was one day where, again, coming from a negative place, like I'd been broken up with. And that day at lunch I got broken up with and I was like, let me just go see if I can run a marathon right now.
That day?
Hadn't been training, hadn't done anything.
I like it. This is a self-flagellation.
And I made it 17 and a half miles.
Okay. I'm guessing you took no nutrition, no water.
I had a bottle of water.
Okay.
And that was it.
I see Carl smiling in the background. I think he relates to this very much. He's like, yeah, I just went through pain. Let me add more pain on top.
I listened to the background on Carl and I very much was resonating as well. Yeah, it was a great interview and was helpful. Yeah. But yeah, so I think getting over that that marathon hurdle was huge for me. And
How did you find like the tools and the information? I'm assuming you had then found out how to train and fuel before.
still not really.
Okay.
It's just like a blessing, I guess. I didn't get hurt. I think maybe what made it work, and this is where I'm going to sound like a true masochistic lunatic,
I like it.
is I did every single run from the first training run through to the race itself on a treadmill at Planet Fitness by myself.
Okay.
There's somebody else who was a Planet Fitness treadmill person that I was talking to.
I worked at Planet Fitness.
I know that.
Yeah.
It was pretty nice.
I don't know which one you went to, but the one it was okay.
It was fine. The
It
biggest
was
problem
also like
was
20 years ago.
they couldn't figure out the treadmills have a marathon mode, so it'll just keep going. The employees
So
didn't
you
know how
did
to do
a
that.
30 minutes. at a
Every
time.
90 minutes, I'd have to stop and re-hit it. But I just consider that like if I'd had to pull off to go to a water station, you know?
See, I love treadmill. A lot of people don't like it, but I've also, like when London last year, all my speed work and everything I just did on the Wahoo Kicker Run, and I think they're a great tool. They get a lot of shit, but I think they're a good tool.
Yeah, I hate running on a treadmill. But was there something about that made you like it was like a process almost? Like
It's the
going
numbers. That's what Thomas was
Okay.
saying. I could look at it. I could
Yeah.
see my performance.
I'm
and
starting to think we're talking Rain Man.
it's not a compliment.
Sure it is. He was really good at what he
Look
did.
at all the matches. Yeah, I could be on it and I'd be
Very
like,
good at driving.
if I'm not sure I am. I'm like the one person who's willing to
You
admit
made
it.
it here. You know?
In one piece, barely. Traffic here is wild.
I find
Baltimore or DC?
Both. I think there was a 10K going on out there today.
I didn't realize it was happening. I
I-
probably should have told you that.
I always think that driving into any city is, especially if you're not familiar with the city, can be traumatic. DC is really hard because you have to do, there's no, it's not a parallel street. Like, like on some cities, you're like, it's a grid. Like New York, it's a grid. Yeah, I would never want to drive there. But DC is not a grid. It's like this funky maze with roundabouts.
Yeah,
and,
it's horrible.
And the people who know how to drive there are relentless. And then you come to Baltimore and it's like, we right now have like road closures for water main fixing and all that. They're doing some projects. And so like, yeah. And then one-way streets and all that. Yeah. Anyway, that's my soapbox. I'll get down now.
I've got a philosophy on this, a little theory here. I think that every city, every place has their unwritten rules of the road and everyone abides by them. But as soon as they're put into a different situation, now they don't know the unwritten rules of the road. So a place like Charlotte, everyone's transplants, everyone's driving with their own rules and no one knows what to expect from each other. It's a nightmare.
Yeah. I haven't been to Charlotte.
You're not missing a ton.
Really? Okay. I'm sold.
I mean, if you like whiskey, there's one good spot.
Oh, that's you know what? I think there's several bourbon bars in Baltimore.
I don't know. I would not know.
I'm pretty sure there's like, I even think that Kissling's, which has the best wings, I think they might have a bourbon selection. I'm not sure.
Okay, back to treadmill running for this marathon. What was the marathon you ran?
On the treadmill.
Oh, you ran the.
Oh, yeah.
Planet Fitness
The
26.2.
I thought you just trained exclusively there and then went
Nope.
and ran a marathon.
Did the
Nope.
staff
Okay.
give you a medal or anything?
So I went down the day I did it and I was like proud of myself. And I told the guy behind the desk, I was like, I just did my first marathon up there. And he didn't even react, like didn't blink, wasn't like good job, but just like looked up and then just like went back to logging someone in on the computer.
Well, have you ever talked to someone who doesn't maybe know what the marathon distance is? Like I was talking to one person and they were telling me how their
Yeah.
friend just ran a zombie marathon. I was like, do you mean
What is that?
5K? He's like, yeah, a zombie marathon.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it was a 5K where you start the race and if you get passed by a zombie,
Oh, gotcha. You're out.
you basically get tapped out.
That sounds fun though.
Yeah, I think it would actually work really well during a marathon. But no zombies want to run marathons. Apparently 5Ks are their max.
We do have a race like that next month in Charlotte, which I was planning to do. I'm seeing the orthopedist on Monday, so we'll see if I can do it. But it can go up to 50 miles.
Okay.
But it goes until either someone crosses 50 miles or everyone gets caught, which is kind of cool.
That is
That's also kind of terrifying.
What
What
is
are you
that?
getting caught by?
It's like a virtual thing. There's an app that does it.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, is this that?
I thought you were
Is this
being
Red Bull?
chased.
I don't think so.
Okay, because Red Bull does a virtual like chase car that you start off and see how far
Maybe
you
it
can
is
get
then.
before you get nabbed.
I found out about it on like one of those TV screens in an Uber, so I don't have like all the
Right.
details, but I've got
That
it on
sounds
my
like
phone.
Red Bull money.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds like it could be.
Yeah.
So what did you do to celebrate after you ran your treadmill marathon?
I went home. My amazing wife had a trophy made for me.
Oh.
Which, yeah, I know.
So she knew you were doing this.
She knew. Oh yeah, I've been
Okay.
training and like doing the whole thing. She knew it was happening.
Do you have a 5-year-old that you're forcing to run right now?
Yes. No. My dog who wishes he could run more. The funniest part is she got the date wrong on the trophy, and I'm like, I don't even care. That makes it better. But yeah, she had a trophy for me. She had a pair of rabbit sweatpants for me.
Nice.
And
Did you clock the time and take out the moments that it took for the reset of the treadmill?
Clocked the time, did not take out the time that it stopped. I think it's start to finish. It's been
Oh,
chip
wow,
time.
that's true. Yeah, chip time.
Yeah.
That's rad. That's funny. We've had to do like long. I think the most I've done on a treadmill is like 21. I did like one of my training miles on it. It's just a long time when you know you can step off at any moment.
I was listening to your guys' other pods. I think it was the Andy Murray one. You're saying that running's like 90% mental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That part of it I've always had. I'm just trying to get my joints to catch up. You know, I can push myself to keep going. I can convince myself, I said I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it.
I like that.
But
That's a solid attribute to have, because I feel like, I don't know, maybe you feel differently, but I feel like it's easier to get physically fit than mentally fit.
That's a good question.
I mean, clearly not for me. So I think that's very individual.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think that's also probably part of my upbringing was just like, you know, you have your responsibilities. You
Yeah.
need to do this. You got to honor your commitments. And
So have you decided to do an official?
I have, again, been training and injuring. So I was going to, my goal marathon I want to do is this marathon in Sweden where my family's from. It's called the Helsingborg Marathon. It's my favorite place to run. You've got incredible trails through forests as part of it, but not technical at all.
Yeah,
There's
that
like
sounds cool.
2-mile stretch along the beach with Hamlet's castle on the other side. You've got the princess's summer castle that you run past. You've got fields with orchards, and it's just the most beautiful. There's a city.
It sounds like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, a little bit. There is actually like a 12th century rampart tower.
Dude, this sounds cool.
How did you find this race?
So my family, my parents and brother live there in the summer still.
Okay.
So was super excited, was planning on doing that last year. Timing didn't work out with training. I would have been like peak training block the week of my wedding. That just wasn't going to happen. So then pushed out to try and do the West Palm Beach Marathon, which is where I grew up. So know all the trails and everything. And 2 or 3 weeks before my taper, so my peak week, something happened with my meniscus. Could not put any weight on my leg. Couldn't run 100 yards for 6
No.
weeks, and was in the best shape of my life. So it was a bummer.
Has anybody said try weightlifting?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's been like my 2025. I had like mile goals. I wanted my goals to run a marathon. I had all this stuff. 2026, the goal is just get healthy. That's it. Lay the foundation.
Because that's the thing, I sound like it's funny because we have all this bourbon in front of me, but like a recovering alcoholic, where they're like, "Have you tried this?" But it worked for me, and I'll tell you what. That since I started weightlifting, I found that it takes care of a lot of the, I guess, imbalances I had, and so I'm finding that not only do it's kind of like super shoes. Now you get the super shoe, and not only does it help to go faster, but it also, with the cushioning, you recover faster. And I just feel like with the weightlifting, it's taking care of some of the things that were imbalances, weakness, and then afterwards I feel like I recover faster.
One of the big ones I've started doing, which was in the Running Breakthroughs book, which is actually also part of how this happened. You mentioned collecting shoes and collecting whiskey in that book. That's what got me to reach out. But the running backwards to get the posterior chain going.
Is that in that book?
Yeah.
I don't think I got to that part.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I've been working in more often.
And you like it?
Oh, my glutes are feeling just burnt out. So it's got to be working.
Maybe Meg, you did
Yeah.
some backwards running at Boston.
Yeah, that's probably what I should have done. You think it helps with like just overall, like,
Clearly it hasn't for me yet.
Okay.
So the investment's
Fair.
coming. We'll see.
yeah.
That's That's the nice thing about bourbon, though. You can drink it when you're injured. You can drink it when you're feeling good.
But you shouldn't drink it in the morning. You've got more occasions, but not as much time of day where it's appropriate.
Yeah.
You can run in the morning, you can run at night, you can take a break and run in the middle of the workday.
You can't be a early morning drinker.
I mean, you can. You probably shouldn't. But yeah, so back to the mental piece and sort of trying to get right.
Yeah.
It's funny that now I'm thankful for the injuries I've had, because that's part of what's made me realize how much I love running, how much it helps me balance my emotional state. And when I can't run, like now, and I'm just watching everyone run, I'm like, I wish I could be there.
Oh, that's the worst.
And then when I'm finally back to healthy and it's a morning where I'm like, oh, I'm just not feeling it today. It's not I have to run, it's I get to run.
Yeah.
Think about all those times where I was just sidelined and I was wishing I could be out there doing this. I can't take this for granted. And just every run, just taking a moment to stop and be like, I'm moving, I'm feeling good, I'm in a state of flow. This is lucky. Everything is good right now.
The most motivated runner is always the one who can't run.
Yeah.
It's like standing out, shaking his fist while we run by on the promenade.
I'd be doing 20 miles today, I promise you.
You can't talk to anybody about your running. There's no Strava. It can be rough.
So how did you actually find us, like Believe in the Run?
So I think it was when I was deciding one of the many times to train for a marathon, and I needed to get new shoes. And I was trying to figure out what the right shoes for marathon training were, which at the time was the Boston 9s and the Ultra Boost PBs were the two pairs I ended up getting. Weird kind of mix, not gonna lie. Did not know that like shoe rotations, anything like that. Did not know that the Ultra Boost PB, I saw the PB and was like, yeah, those must be for going fast. Did not realize it's like a brick of EVA, but I bought the first boosts when they came out, and that I like loved those shoes. That was like a game changer. So they had me,
Yeah. Well, the new one, the Hyper Boost Edge, is quite nice.
I haven't tried it yet.
So what are you running right now? Like, what's your lineup if you have a perfect one?
So as the table probably demonstrates, I get too deep into things. So I've got like a 13 shoe rotation going right now.
Okay.
And you must have a lovely wife.
She's so kind. So incredibly understanding.
Like, can you imagine you have this bottle collection and then you got like 13 shoes and she's like, please don't get into watches.
That was before I met her. Okay. So that was back in the New York days. And I was like, that's just too expensive. If I want to explore this hobby, I like to try different things. That's never going to work out. So I've switched my like easy run shoe lately to the Speedlands.
Okay.
The RX FPYs, just wanted to give those a shot. I've got weird feet with super high insteps, and so wanted to see how the BOA would do, because I always get like finicky lockdowns. I got a little heel slip in them, but I really like the roll on it. I really like the bounce of that slab that they put under there.
Do you use a plate or no plate?
No plate. Yeah, haven't even tried them outside of trying them on in the living room. Haven't tried anything with the plate. Then for more daily type of stuff where I might do some speed, try and do at least one run a week in Atreyu daily trainers, which is what I'm wearing today. Just the proprioception, keeping the feet strong, like you were saying, get some of that strengthening in.
Yeah.
Or I'll do...
It's the opposite of my strategy.
No, feel nothing. Feel nothing.
Yeah.
The Boston 13. I love the Boston 13. I know that's a little bit of a controversial take. It works.
A little bit, but I'm real excited where I think this shoe is going next. So I think without giving too much away, you've seen some of like the new updates they've done. Especially they just came out with the Evo Pro 4, and you're going to see that it has that rim, and then the Prime X Evo has that rim thing. I think that we're going away from rods.
Okay.
I think we'll probably get more great foam right underneath the foot, and then,
That sounds good.
From what I'm hearing, and this, I probably not even supposed to say anything, but I was on a run with someone from Adidas, and they were telling me stuff, and I was like, okay, that sounds great.
Not supposed to say anything, but here we are.
Hey, all he said was it sounds
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
That-
Yeah, I think saying it sounds great, and you could probably use, if you know anything about the way Adidas goes through technology, if they find something that works in one spot,
We
they
apply it everywhere.
yeah. So yeah,
I mean, can we talk about the Pro Evo 4 for a second? I would
Yeah.
love to get that thing. Blew my mind the other day.
I wish Megan had brought hers in so you could feel it. It is so, it's like holding a styrofoam cup.
Yeah, it's crazy light, and I haven't actually put it on my feet, so I can't tell you anything other than it looks and feels insane.
I asked though what the durability was, and they said it's pretty much the little brother to the Primex Evo, which Megan adores. And how many miles you put on that? Over 100.
Yeah, probably close to 200
And it
now.
still feels great,
Yes.
right?
Amazing.
Yeah.
On Reddit, the actual just the U/Adidas was answering questions about that shoe, and they were hyping up the durability on it. So pretty
right.
exciting. I mean, I'm sure they're going to do that, right? But
yeah.
I mean, look, it's not a trail shoe. You're not going to take it out and beat the hell out of it. But if you want to get more than one race out of it.
So your race day shoe, do you have one?
So me being me, I have 3, despite
Okay.
not having done any races. The marathon I did was in Hoka Mach 5s. So
Room for improvement there.
room for improvement, big time, yeah. So I have the Adios Pro 4, which I've done. I got my 5K PB in those, and have done some longer training runs with pace in those. Didn't love how they were working on some of those longer runs. So right before I got hurt, picked up some Metaspeed Sky Paris.
Okay.
Just on huge sale. Figured lightweight, see if I can give those a go. Still haven't even run in them because of the injury last year. And then I just picked up the New Balance SC Elite V5 because it was under $100.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
That's
Wow,
a solid.
that's a good find.
yeah, if it ends up being a training shoe, great.
Yeah.
If it's a race shoe, great.
Dude, that's the same price as the Ellipse or the Evo SL.
Yeah,
It's not a
less
bad
than.
deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what I might end up doing, because I generally like a little more road feel, a little less stack. I've really enjoyed the runs I've had in the New Balance SC Pacer V2.
Okay. Yeah.
So that I think it's 36 mil.
Yeah.
And that geometry worked really well for my feet.
I did a 5K in that shoe, and I feel like that's as far as I want to run in it, but it's
I
good.
think the update that's coming, it's going to come under a different name, but it's pretty good.
Is it the same philosophy? Like keep it a little lower, a little more short course?
No. Oh, wait, you were
The
saying.
Pacer.
Oh, you did the Pacer?
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking more of the trainer.
The SC trainer?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
I saw the new name, like the teased name for that one.
What was the T's name?
The SC Rebel is what yeah.
It sounds, I mean, wherever your
Plausible.
source was,
Plausible.
your source sounds like it's a plausible source.
Just the internet.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Can't
So-
confirm or deny.
Yeah. I can't confirm or deny if I have a pair.
So obviously the goal is you want to run a marathon out on the roads, but do you enjoy any of the shorter distance races?
I have never actually, since cross country in high school, I've never
Haven't?
done
Okay.
like a 10K or a half that's officially organized.
Do you have any desire to?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, I hate short distance races. I think they're so bad.
They're so much harder.
Yeah. I would never want to do a 5K. I would run a marathon tomorrow over racing a 5K.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know about that. I didn't throw down at the BAA 5K, but it wasn't as bad as running a marathon.
It's a different kind of pain.
It is.
Like you get the relief sooner.
Yeah.
But it hurts so much more.
I would agree. I really enjoyed the half distance that we did in January.
The half feels kind of like a cheating distance.
It
'cause
is.
You're pushing, but you're not pushing over that edge. You're kind of like sub threshold still, and you can lock into a rhythm. It's a good one.
Yeah.
I think people sleep on it.
As someone who only has like one pace, that's like a pretty good distance for me. Cause like to this day, my 10-mile PR is faster than my 5K PR.
The pace.
Yeah.
Not the actual time.
No. The
That's
pace.
amazing.
Pace per mile. Cause I only have one speed. So whether I'm doing 3 miles or 15 miles, it's all pretty much the same, which I don't know what that means, but
I don't know. You threw down at the mile.
maybe. Yeah.
You felt sick afterwards.
Yeah, that's true.
So last night was talking with some guys, told them I was coming on here. We were talking a bit about running, and we started talking about sports records. And I think the most impressive sports record to me, talking about throwing down in the mile, is probably the beer mile. The world record for the beer mile, 4 beers and run a mile, is 4 minutes, 30-something seconds.
That's insane. First off, I don't know. I've run a couple beer miles, and last 2 years I've done the Chuck Wagon beer mile at altitude in Western States. I don't think I got 4 beers down in 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
Because is the rule you have to finish the beer before you start running again?
Yes.
So you have to be
stopped.
fully, that's insane.
So the people who can do the and open up and just the whole thing goes down, they're an advantage, but still then you have to be able to run probably a 4:10 mile. But that, like for me, it literally takes me about a minute to get the
have
beer
you tried
done.
to do one?
Never. No.
Okay. No desire to do that.
That one's not on the list.
Yeah.
No, just the stomach, I think, would
it's
be
horrible.
Now we did
bad.
a whiskey mile.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you, that's not hard. The hard part is when you stop running.
Yeah, it's like the just amount of liquid in your stomach while you're running. That's why I think
the whiskey is
it's
not
fine,
bad.
yeah.
But you stop running and all of a sudden it's almost like a curtain falls, and it's just like
You
'cause,
realize
like
you're
your
drunk
blood's
all of a sudden.
pumping. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're sweating. You're like and then your idea is, hey, let's go get some beers, stuff. But we did a fireball.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
That's not the one you want.
I was gonna say, where does Fireball land in your expertise?
I can tell you a good bit about it. They had a great marketing campaign.
Is it whiskey?
Yes, it's actually the top-selling Canadian whiskey.
Oh wow.
It's technically flavored whiskey, but we'll pass on that for a
Yeah,
minute.
is it just marketing? That's why it got so popular.
Yeah. So they ran a really brilliant campaign right in the early days of social media where they got a bunch of attractive, loosely clad college-age women to show up at college towns and college bars. This was when Foursquare existed.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Remember that? You
Foursquare.
check into
Yeah.
different places you were going. So if you went and took a picture with the Fireball girls and tagged the picture and checked in at that bar on Foursquare, your drinks would be free.
Wow, that is
And
brilliant.
so like they
That
were
is
just
good.
telling everyone free drinks at this place with these women, and that's not how I like to brand build. But I
But
cannot.
Carl was there like, snap.
I mean, it worked, right?
Talk
Like,
about a fast mile.
I mean, that's kind of like what Red Bull did. Like they
Yeah, but
handed out
that
all
doesn't have
the.
alcohol.
Well, yeah.
I will say, Fireball. I can understand why. If you're partying and you're having a good time and celebrating, it's a harmless shot as far as it tastes like cinnamon. So it's like, boom, not so bad. It's not like if you're out and someone hands you a vodka shot or a tequila
Yeah.
shot.
That's true. Less harsh.
Yeah, it's
Malort.
It's training wheel shots.
but like a lot of people don't realize this is the power of brand in alcohol. Fireball's been around since like the 80s, I want to say, but it used to be called Dr. McKillicuddy's Cinnamon Fire Shot or something
Yeah,
like
they
that.
could. Yeah,
It's like-
Yeah, that's a bad name.
Yeah, that didn't work, obviously. And then they changed it to Fireballs off to the races.
Yeah, and
Wow.
you've got what's his name singing Fireball, the bald guy.
Pitbull.
Pitbull, yeah, there you go. But I remember, so before Fireball, there was Goldschlager, and that was the one that really lit up the '80s.
You had the gold in there.
flake
It cuts your throat so you get drunk faster, you know? There's no way that's true.
I'm rich.
That's insane.
Just got to get to the bottom of the bottle. They got some gold coins.
Okay, so how did you actually get into whiskey?
So a few different lanes on that too. I'm sorry I don't have like a straightforward answer to anything.
It's all good.
I jokingly say that I was like the craft beer guy in college before that was a stereotype that existed. So like, it was always the Keystones and that stuff. But like I would always pay the extra $3 to have 1 6-pack of something I'd never tried before. So I was always interested in kind of exploring the different stuff. Then cut out all the carbs in my life.
Right.
And so all the beer stopped and just started drinking vodka sodas. And those are really freaking boring. So then started
That's my
drinking
drink.
whiskey sodas. Just to get a little flavor in there. Sorry. Maybe
all right,
get
yeah.
you in something. And then started just trying a couple whiskeys that were interesting. And the real tipping point was I was working in consulting I got Diageo as a client, maybe not a company name that's super familiar to people, but they're the biggest liquor company in the world. They own Captain Morgan, they own Johnny Walker, they own...
A lot of people.
Yeah, they Smirnoff. I mean, they own
wow.
like basically 40% of the market.
Tomorrow's London. Do they own Cuddy Sark?
No, a company called Edrington owns
right.
Cuddy Sark.
Oh, this is cool. Let's throw out liquor names and you tell me who owns them.
Yeah, we can do that. This is like Jeopardy or Trivial Pursuit or
Speaking
something.
of Jeopardy, I don't know if you're watching around. Do you know who Jamie Ding is?
Is that the guy who's on the streak right now?
Yes.
Dude, he is fire. Like, he is like the best. I don't know how he's doing it, but yeah.
See, the way you should have said that is Jamie Ding, and then I could have been like, who is the guy crushing
Yeah.
Jeopardy right now?
That would, all right, that next time. After a few drinks, we'll play Jeopardy.
But yeah, so I was doing a project for them. It was projecting out the consumer trends and consumer preferences that would shift alcohol consumption on a 5-year timeline. And so we had all kinds of different data.
What year is this?
That was 2014.
Okay.
And a big piece of that was also subtext, and why are millennials not drinking? So it's just funny, like right now everyone's talking about why is Gen Z not drinking. For me, it's just like, I've seen this story.
Yeah.
This is the exact same thing happening again.
Why weren't they drinking?
Well,
He wrote a whole report on it.
How nerdy do you want? Yeah, I sent Meg my 50-page report on this. So we won't do
good.
that. I
You can give us a
don't
summary.
believe you read it, but you don't
I
need
didn't
to.
read the whole thing,
Good,
but
good.
I 100% went through it.
It was like meant for the industry,
Yeah.
so I wouldn't expect you to read it at all.
Here's a crazy thing is that I just saw a thing that the whiskey, they're like overproduced. So right
Massively.
now there's like, this is the time if you really want to get into whiskey and bourbon,
Like 3 years from now is the time.
is the time.
So again, just to put some numbers on that, the TTB, which is the federal agency that taxes and governs alcohol production, they actually track publicly how much liquor is distilled every month, how much is currently warehoused in barrels, how much, they don't track how much gets pulled out, but then if you cross it with sales reports, you can get a rough estimate. And if the American whiskey industry did not produce another drop of whiskey starting, I guess, last year, and that sales continue to grow at an annual growth rate of 3% per year, there's already enough inventory to meet demand for the next almost 10 years.
Whoa.
Not until Carl gets out there.
Now, keep in mind, it's an aged product, so they always need to have at
Sure.
least 4, 5, 6, 7. Like historically, they would run at about 7 years worth of inventory on hand. So jumping up to 9, 10, though, that's
So
a
we'll be
big
able to fill
overspill.
up our car with it soon.
I mean, I already did on the way here.
Yeah, I see that.
But so why are people not drinking as much? What is the reasoning that you've seen?
So there's a few answers to that question. Are people not drinking as much is the first one I would actually ask. And what people are using is sales data as a correlation for how much people are drinking, not actual behavior data. So I can't answer for sure whether or not people are drinking more or less. To answer the question of why are sales declining,
It's because of the Fireball thing, right?
It's because of the
Everybody's
Fireball.
drinking for free.
it's because it's no longer appropriate to have the scantily clad women doing Foursquare check-ins giving out free drinks, obviously. No, it's mostly, if you look at the last like 30, 40 years of alcohol sales history, the category basically grew between like 1% to 3% every year. Consistent, steady, predictable. From 2020 to 2022, so through COVID, it was growing at like 7, 10, 12% per year. We had these anomalous, massive growth
Didn't
years.
COVID just like spike alcohol across the board?
You know, it's funny because you think of alcohol as a social thing, but during COVID, I think it was just like, let's get through this thing.
And again, we don't know if people were just buying more, if they were drinking more,
Okay.
right? We don't know
Yeah.
how that's all working out. But part of the analysis that my company's done is we went back and looked at, in 2019, right before this boom happened, where were investment banks projecting alcohol sales to be 5 years out in 2024 and in 2025, right? In 2024, even though alcohol sales were down, we were still 10% ahead of where they thought we would be in 2019. Right now, we're still about 5.5% ahead of where people were estimating we would be. So on the one hand, you can say, yeah, alcohol's its sales are soft. It's not a strong category right now. On the other hand, we're actually still 5% ahead of where anyone thought we would be. That actually sounds like a pretty strong market to me.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Also, I remember the first thing that I went through with like the alcohol sales, like scare, was when like Starbucks and those coffee houses started really popping up strong, and people are going there and spending the money that they would spend on an alcohol drink. They're going to a Starbucks and getting a macchiato or something like that, and that seemed to pass as well.
These things all really seem to be cyclical. For me, the three biggest things that I think are actual risks are disposable income for younger people, living at home, not being able to sneak out into the woods because their parents are tracking their phones, not being able to have house parties because they have Ring cameras, right? Like, why are kids not drinking? They don't have the opportunity to because they're living with their parents and they're tracked all the time.
What a bunch of losers.
Yeah, right.
Megan it was kind of funny because the thing that there was a Gen Z thing where they're like, were there really house parties? And
No, come on.
yeah, they were like, because they don't like, they see it in the movies and stuff, and they're like, "What did this really happen, or is it just something in the movies?" And Megan can tell you from personal experience, her house was
The party house.
The party house. You
My
were the
poor
coolest kid in
parents.
school.
Yeah. Well, it was really my brother to blame more than me.
And he is one of the
we
coolest
had
kids.
overlapping friends, and so he would tell like one person, and then you know how it goes. Then everyone knows. And
Did your parents ever catch you?
the police came several times.
Oh.
Yeah.
What happened like the third time the cops came?
That was the last time we were allowed to have a party. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
her
pretty
mom
bad.
told me a story when they were like at dinner with clients, and they got a call from the police and had to come home.
They were like at a very nice dinner, like hosting for these doctors that flew in from like Japan, and yeah, we were the really bad teenagers who had a party where they were gone.
But they weren't like that gone, right? They were still in town?
Yeah, that's
That's
how
bold.
dumb. Yeah, bold is a good word.
One of my favorite stories, though, her dad had just gotten her brother a new snowboard. So he was so mad, he turned on the table saw downstairs.
And pretended like he was.
Oh, he only
didn't-
pretended.
Yeah, he didn't actually do it.
But
But he
Ryan
cut a piece
cried.
of wood in half, and so Ryan, my brother, just assumed
And he cried, right?
he ran away.
Where did
Like a little
you grow
girl.
up that you were snowboarding?
A little town called Phoenix, Maryland. So it's like 45 minutes north of here.
Oh, cool.
Shares nothing with the Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't be snowboarding out there, so actually,
You wouldn't
Could
be
you go to like
snowboarding
Taos?
there.
Yeah, you have to drive. Where did we go?
Probably went to Seven Springs or
Yeah.
Whitetail.
We actually grew up skiing and snowboarding on the West Coast. So then actually skiing and snowboarding here, I was like, this is horrible.
Yeah, it's trash.
Yeah.
You definitely want the West Coast for that.
Anyway, how did we get there? We were just talking about house parties.
Drinking,
Why
I think.
people
Oh.
aren't drinking.
So the data that you pull from that's strictly sales, does that take into account whether someone's going to like a liquor store and buying something or if someone's going to a bar?
It does, yeah.
So has that changed?
I actually haven't seen data on that in a few years.
Okay.
There had been, like, for many years, trends of people drinking more at home, shifting that purchase behavior.
I think this is the dating apps have changed that. Like before, if you wanted to meet someone, you had to
Yeah.
go out. Like you had to meet people, have to have friends of friends, whether that was through like a running community thing or going to a bar. And I feel like that trend's going to swing back, that people like are going to, the apps, I think from what I hear, I'm not on one currently. But it, like, if you can sit on your couch and drink a glass of wine and swipe through people rather than go to a bar, get dressed, pay, full price for a drink, I could see why someone would choose that option.
So that relates really closely to the second. I said there were three things that I think are real threats. The second one is people being on their phones, and particularly with online gambling. It's so socially
Oh, I didn't
isolating.
even think about that.
So much of the little disposable income people have is particularly men, is going into sports betting, online gambling, and that's money that normally like you would have gone and chopped it up with your buddies, or you would have had people over to watch a game, and you would have split a 6-pack, and now you're just sitting there on your phone watching and betting, and it's antisocial potentially in a bad way, which that worries me a little bit.
I do the gambling thing. It's funny because even my son, like he was like talking about placing a gambling bet through somebody else, and I was like, dude, you don't want to get into that. Like that's just your money's gone.
Did you see the poly market bets on Meg's finishing times at Boston?
No, really good.
There's money on under 230. It was crazy. No.
That would be crazy. I imagine the alcohol plus gambling is also worst case scenario because it's so easy.
Well, that's the thing. And then there's weed. So I've had friends who are like, I'm going to get into weed so that I don't drink as much. And then they get high and drink even more.
I love that you said that, though, because that's actually one of the biggest challenges we get in the industry is how is cannabis just going to drop the bottom out of alcohol sales and drinking? And the NIH, the National Institute of Health, has data on this. It's exactly what you just said. People who consume cannabis are significantly more likely to also be alcohol consumers than people who do not consume cannabis. And so it's like, Carl is loving it. So it's like, okay, well, there's really high cross incidence of these.
Here's a crazy thought process for me, okay? Like, so say that you like to drink, and you're like, I'm going to cut back by replacing some of my beverages with weed. And weed is notorious for getting you to eat and drink more. So like, you're like, I feel great, but I could have a drink. And then your inhibition thing, like whatever that like thing to cut you off, it's gone.
So you got to just start vice maxing here.
Okay, that's
and throw in
coin it.
Number 3 on the list of things
Carl,
that scares
that's
me.
a T-shirt right there.
This will help. You got to throw in the GLP-1s right on top of it. So you just push down that reward center, and now you've just really vice maxed. That's how you get there.
Wow.
And then
That's
and
a new
then
level.
your bones fall out.
So the cannabis companies and the alcohol companies are very separate. They're like competitors, essentially.
They're getting more and more intertwined.
Okay.
Oh, I think that's the biggest investor in some of
Yeah,
these
it
is
is.
alcohol companies, mate.
And so in the U.S., we have what's called the 3-tier system of alcohol sales. So like if you're
Crying, sobbing, and what's the other
Weeping.
tiers? Weeping.
Yep, that's it. So if you're a alcohol producer, beer, wine, spirits, with very limited exception, you can't sell either to a bar or restaurant, to a store, or to an individual who will consume it. You have to sell it to a third-party middleman called a distributor, legally mandated. Drug dealer. They sell to bars and restaurants or liquor stores. They sell to consumers. So it's this like mandated chain that goes through. One of the huge changes that's happened mostly in the last 2 years is a ton of these distributors are starting to do cannabis as well. So they're seeing these route to markets as a way that they can channel both of those. That's just a whole new product category they can get into.
Well, I've seen like wheat drinks at are starting to pop up in like a regular liquor store.
And that's one thing. I don't really use cannabis much. I don't like the feeling of being high, but I'll take like a micro dose essentially of cannabis drink and replace a cocktail in an evening and still have that kind of like ritual experience that you get to have after a day of work and just get a great night's sleep.
Huh. All right.
Like that works out.
I like that. We're learning all the things about how to drug yourself here on the Drop Podcast. Dropping Out Podcast.
We talked about the mental aspect. This is how you keep the mental healthy,
There
right?
you go.
Sometimes you got to service yourself with something that's not perfect for the body.
Yeah.
All right, I know we're gonna get into some tasting here, but first, tell me what is day to day right now for you, work wise,
Mostly drinking bourbon, sleeping, and
What
running.
time do you start drinking?
I normally wake up around 10 or 11, depending how the night before went. I'll usually log in at work and then get the little mouse automator going so it looks like I'm logged in.
I like it.
Then put the sleep shade on with the ice in it. Just chill there for about 2 or 3 hours.
Nosferatus.
And then sometimes if I can, I'll go for a run to sweat it out. And that's basically my life.
All right.
No, more seriously, I'm head of marketing and a partner in a venture fund that invests in upstart and craft beverage alcohol companies.
You're deep.
I'm
You're
deep.
into
I've
it.
gone so far. It's crazy because I went from like buying Fireball and stuff to then buying some nicer stuff to then buying way too much stuff to then starting to work in the industry to then starting to buy a couple of barrels to now having a share in some distilleries. And it's like, I've
To
gone
then having a little bit of a weed drink before you get to bed.
As we like to say in the venture world, you just got to pivot. That's it. Yeah, so we're a very small company in terms of the landscape of venture boutique. We work very closely with the brands that we invest in. Everyone on our team came into this from the beverage industry, decades of experience. And so we actually work not just as capital, but as partners. And then as of about a month ago, we actually fully acquired 3 spirits brands, one of which is a distillery, which is really exciting. So I'm
awesome.
now also head of marketing for all of those.
Have you? And so no more Dr. Brown cinnamon flavored hot shots.
I never said that. I never said no more.
Okay, we're gonna go Fireball. The whatchamacallit though? Have you tried Motai?
Yeah.
Okay, I was blown away by that when I went to China, and
In a good way?
I was. I actually like it.
Like
I
the
know
super
that
yeastiness of it is so
it tastes
intense.
it almost tastes like a raisin to me. Like,
you must have had some good stuff.
They said it was $1,000 a bottle.
You had the good stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've not had that.
Oh, I thought it
Okay.
was just one bot. Like I thought it was just one kind.
No,
There's multiple.
It's a category like vodka,
Oh.
essentially.
Got
we
it.
had very good, and they sent me home with a gift one. If I had known you hadn't had it, I would have brought that in. Now the thing about it is, I found that if you just drink that, like because you drink a large amount of it when you go to these dinners, if you just drink that, you're fine. But they also had some whiskeys and stuff like that, and they were asking me if I wanted, like, I'm sure some comparable whiskeys to what you brought, but if you mix it, the guy my buddy grabbed me. He's like, "Don't mix Motai." He's like, "You'll be fine if you stick with just the one, but if you cross over, it's a nightmare."
Did you tell this story on the pod?
I
feel
did.
okay.
I did.
It's funny when you're saying this. I know which run I was on while listening to you tell that story. I was in San Diego running by the beach.
Perfect.
This is a great
See, that's
day.
the crazy thing. Is we meet people, and I feel like nobody listens anyway. So, and then you're like, they know stuff about you or know like a history. And then you're like, did I say that on the podcast?
Well, because we literally come down here on Tuesday mornings and just sit down and start talking and recording, and everyone thinks we have like some grand plan or like notes, and I'm like, quite literally, we just sit down and start talking. So we never remember what we say or what we talked about, and then someone will bring it up and be like, "Oh, you said this," and we're like, "Sure."
Okay. And
Yeah.
then there's inevitably we always forget. Oh, that would have been cool to talk about that.
Yeah.
Left that whole thing out about Meg running a marathon.
Next time.
Yeah. All right. So when we first got here and you were unloading this box of goodies, I was like, hey, like for shoe reviews, we have like break it down to like daily trainers, speed day, race day. And I was like, is there a way to do that? And you told me.
There is, but I unfortunately didn't come prepared for that. We're going like super trainer, race day. You're setting your bests here. I figured, I came in with a little bit of a challenge on this. Meg was telling me she doesn't like whiskey, and so I was like, all right.
So this is whiskey next.
Just trying to win me over here.
Yeah, we got to show up with the good stuff. Bring the big.
Do they
guns.
have stupid names for their whiskeys like we have for the foams?
Yeah.
Like-
Seriously though.
Yeah, it's hers in Credit Runner and Finian.
I mean, I'm actually not going to say that. That's not appropriate. The name of a whiskey that we were drinking last night, I can tell you guys when we sign up. But yeah, like
You can say it. We can always bleep you.
well, it's not that it's got bad words. It's more just the connotations. But yeah, so like we've got Good Night and Joy here. We've got buttery baked bananas over there.
Buttery baked
baked
banana
bananas.
sounds delicious.
Yeah, so we got fun stuff. And the way I arranged it, because I don't know what y'all's tastes are. I would have loved to
Alcohol mostly.
alcohol. Then we're in a good place. This will work. So I brought some bourbons. I brought some ryes. I brought some different styles of single malt scotch.
Okay, quick
I know what she's
education
gonna ask.
moment
Here
here.
comes Carl.
Whiskey, bourbon, rye.
Hobby drinker.
How does this work? Explain.
Yes. So that's the most common question I
Yeah.
get is what's the difference between them? And it's differences in production and differences in geographic protection.
That. Okay.
So whiskey is an umbrella term for the type of liquor made from cereal grains, distilled in most places, has to be matured.
So like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
All right.
Yes. Actually, now I want someone to break up Cinnamon Toast Crunch and distill it and see what happens.
That'd probably be pretty good.
Probably be pretty good.
tastes like a graham cracker Fireball. Look at Carl bringing a chair over.
He's ready.
Welcome
He's
over,
ready.
Carl. Aaron.
Yeah, we don't have the Carl cam, so now we got Carl on cam.
Carl and Cam.
Carl uncammed.
So bourbon is made from at least 51% corn. So it's what's called a mash bill is the component grains that you put together that you then distill. Yeah, ferment and distill. So 51% corn would be bourbon, and it has to be aged in virgin oak casks.
It's hard to
Specifically?
find
Specifically.
Wow.
virgin oak cast.
So a unique thing, America is the only country that requires you to use virgin casks, which means they can only be used once and then they have to be disposed of.
But like, doesn't
What do
the
they do
color
with them?
come from them charring the?
Yes.
Okay.
It comes from the extraction of compounds in the wood. Typically, it's called the red layer of the wood. You're extracting tannins and you're extracting lignin and you're extracting stuff like that that gives it color.
Like even when we were in the UK, they were touting that some of the alcohol that they were doing were used from spent barrels.
So that's basically what happens is after the barrel gets used once, it can't get used again for most American whiskeys. So it gets shipped to places like Scotland, Japan, France, where they'll then mature. And there are trade-offs that come from the number of times the barrel's been used. The first time you use it, you're able to pull a lot more out of it more quickly. You'll get more intense flavors from it, but it's also kind of less subtle, right? You're pulling a lot more out. So if you want to age something for a long time, it can actually be advantageous to be using a second or third or fourth use barrel because you're just slowing down the rate and letting the chemical reactions kind of happen and marry more properly. So one of the bottles on the table, this Bluebonnet Reserve over here, that's not a product that's ever been released. A friend of mine...
Proto.
Yeah, not even. It's just a one-off friends and family kind of thing.
Okay.
A friend of mine who used to be a blender for a brand has started a new business where all he does is act as a broker who takes the empty barrels and sells them to brands in Japan and China, and he just
I think I saw this guy in 60 Minutes or something.
Probably not him.
All right.
He's like, but I mean, Will, you're awesome. If you made it on 60 Minutes, I'm sorry I missed it. But he accidentally got sent like 6 full barrels that were supposed to be empty.
Oh.
And so he took from them and put it into some other barrels and made his own unique one-off blend to give as gifts to friends and family.
Found barrels.
Yeah, exactly. And so I thought, again, just like that's something no one will have ever tried. So that's a fun one.
Suck it, Jarrett. I actually called Jarrett because on our team, the two
texted
biggest
him.
brown liquor people are Feathers, Megan Featherston, and Jarrett. Jarrett is one of those guys that will, if a bottle release is happening, he'll go stand in line outside of a place for 2 days to try to get the bottle. So the fact that he's missing this is, and I tried to call you, Jarrett, tried to rope you in, but
He said the Taylor is a good one.
Yeah, the E.H. Taylor rye. Yeah, I didn't go crazy on the bourbon and rye stuff as much as I did on the Scotch stuff. And personal opinion on this one, but for me, the difference between a $50 bourbon and a $500 bourbon is less of like a quality improvement than the difference between a $100 and a $200 bottle of Scotch.
Interesting.
So you get such faster diminishing returns in bourbon because of those controls on how it's matured and everything, right?
and Scotch isn't that popular, I don't think, is it?
Not by comparison. Or if you look at Scotch broadly, it's pretty popular. But if you look at just single malt, it's really actually a tiny slice.
Because I can't think of too many people that I go out with. They're like, "Let me get a Scotch."
And how much of the price is relevant to like the actual process versus just branding?
Yeah, almost none of it is related to the actual process.
Okay.
I mean, there is an element of it, but not at all once you get over a few $100. I always describe it on the business side. It's not a margin consideration; it's a cash flow consideration. It doesn't cost a lot to store a barrel and to insure a barrel and to offset the loss from evaporation as that barrel sits there, right? I wish if I'd known you were going to ask that, I would have had the numbers ready. I did the fair price equivalent on what a 50-year whiskey should cost if you were just doing the price per ounce at the fair cost of it. But yeah, basically these companies make way smaller margins on like their introductory products. They want to get people to learn about the brand. They want to get people to try it. They're trying to drive volume, and they support so much of the marketing that goes towards driving purchase of those products with enormous margins on.
So that's the Brooks Ghost.
I was gonna say it's not that different from the way the shoe world works. Like we have the Evos that are $500, but there's 1,000 pairs.
Well, you start
and-
off with the Evo SL,
Yeah.
and then you go, I really like this shoe. Maybe I'd race in the Evo Pro, and then you're like, okay, now I really want to go for a PB. Let me go for the the Evo Pro. And
So on the margin side with that though, like I've heard with say the Pro Evo, like they have to throw away a ton of the midsoles because they don't fit the standards for that shoe. So there probably is
well, even the
Yeah,
way
I
they
do
do
think-
it's uncompressed, so they
to
cut,
shave it.
Yeah.
and so there's leftover material that. What are you going to do with it?
Yeah. So it might actually make sense then that they're like ramping the price up that much.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, I think you also pay for R&D.
That's most of
For
it.
sure.
Yeah.
So like in your, and I don't know how that would relate to bourbon whiskey, but you're paying for the elite athletes, the research, the stuff that they're putting in. So the actual cost of the shoe, once they start developing, isn't terrible, but you got to recoup all the other stuff you're doing. And honestly, 1% of sales, so it is sort of like the whiskey. Like if you go to a local running store or something like that, they're not selling a ton of the race day shoes. No, they have a ton of people coming in for the Ghost, the walking shoes. and
Yeah.
that kind of
Hokos that you'll stand on in the hospital all
stuff.
day.
Exactly.
But you said that there was a $30,000 bottle here, and you're not going to tell us which one it is. But how do you justify that cost?
So that one, it's not worth its price. I'll say that. But the story on it is
Okay.
actually insane. And I can tell it now, or I can tell it when we taste
Is
it.
it the story that this was in the Lamborghini that Leonardo DiCaprio was driving in Wolf of Wall Street?
Can't confirm or deny. No, it's basically the oldest known example of a Japanese single malt whiskey.
Arigato.
It's from a distillery that never actually even released a single malt whiskey in the time that it operated. And very uniquely, a lot of people don't know a lot of Japanese whiskeys, if they're blended, they actually blend with Scotch whiskey. A lot of Japanese whiskeys, as all non-American whiskeys, mature in ex-bourbon barrels. A lot of Japanese whiskeys use distillers' yeasts from Scotland, for example. This whiskey was before Japan had a flourishing whiskey industry. So it's made with local Japanese barley, local Japanese yeast, and local Japanese oak, Mizunara oak, which is inordinately expensive even today because it takes about 300 years for the trees to grow to a point where they can be harvested into a barrel. So it's just like the most quintessential example of what a Japanese whiskey would be, and it's the only known example of a Japanese malt whiskey from that period of history.
Okay. Amazing.
And it was forgotten. It was completely lost. The company moved to shochu production. The company got acquired, got transferred, and is now owned by the sort of company that owns the rights to that former distillery, now also owns a Scotch distillery. And the general manager for the Scotch distillery was doing his research and learned about this malt distillery that they had that had never even made a single malt. And he just started probing and asking, like, what was the deal with this? What happened to this? Where did it go? And one day he was in a meeting in Japan, and someone just put down a little bottle in front of him that just said 1958 on it. And they were like, we found it.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, I think we should probably get into it.
Yeah. Where do we start? How do we do this?
Oh, okay. So for each style, there are a few different bottles to choose from, and you can either try all of them, or I can guide you a little bit based on what they taste like and let you pick.
What I would like to see is, because Megan is probably going to be the pickiest person here. How are you going to take someone who's a vodka soda drinker and introduce them into a brown liquor?
I've done it many times.
All right, let's see that.
So again, questions. it's tough because it depends how much we're thinking about drinking today. I guess that's the first start, because like if we just wanted to do Scotch, I would start you in a totally different place from if you want to try all of the categories, for example.
I know I'm not driving home.
Yeah, I'm probably drinking the least amount, but so these two, go for it.
All right. So
Meg's going to do a taste.
Yeah.
yeah, there's a difference between drinking and tasting, by the way, and we're tasting here. So, you know, it's responsible. It's responsible.
Put the hose back.
So is the challenge here find one that Meg will like first? That's where we're starting?
I'd say we start there and find one that she won't go like this.
All right.
Good luck.
From a dessert perspective,
Okay.
do you normally like more like fruit desserts? Like, would you go more for like a parfait or a gelato, or do you like more like rich desserts?
Yeah, not fruit.
Not fruit. All right.
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
I love tiramisu.
Tiramisu.
I like ice cream.
Okay, I've got tiramisu is all I needed
Okay.
to hear. All right, so I'm gonna move this
go
and
ahead.
grab a glass.
Is everyone going to taste it, or is this
Yeah,
just
that's
me?
fine.
Okay.
Everyone can taste it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess. Do you guys want to share a glass? I've got enough for everyone to have their
Yeah,
own
just
glass.
I'll let it make. I'll taste.
I'll leave
Meg's.
this one here just in case.
I'll taste Meg's.
Also, can we know which is your favorite?
Sure. At the end.
Okay.
I don't want to bias.
And he's got to be on mic.
Fair.
Got to be mic'd up.
All right. Is this the one I'm going to share with Meg, or is she get her
Y'all can have your own.
own? Okay.
So
Are you going to tell us what this is called?
yeah, this is Angel's Envy Rye.
Oh, I've heard of this.
I've heard this is Megan Featherston's favorite, I think.
Is it?
Yeah.
Angel's Envy.
Wait,
Didn't you go to the distillery?
when we were in Louisville.
Yeah.
Is this where I went?
You could have,
Probably.
for sure. So before you drink it,
Okay.
Angel's Envy, this is definitely one of the more like pedestrian normal things. Like you can buy this at a store. There's not much else on this table that you could just go into a store and buy. It's finished in Caribbean rum casks, so you get a little bit of the sweetness from the rum mixed with the spice on the rye. Tiramisu is actually the tasting note that I usually use for this one. But before you guys get into tasting it, I always like to teach people a little bit on how to properly taste to get more flavor out of their whiskey, as well as talk you through the eyedropper in case you want to add some water.
Okay.
So yes, there is a difference between drinking and tasting. The first thing you'll want to do is hold it up to under your nose, but you want to start actually like under your lower lip. If you get too close and really stick your nose in there like you would with a wine, that might happen.
Amateur.
The ethanol comes up out of the middle of the glass.
I mean, I could smell like a caramel smell, like a.
This doesn't smell nearly as bad as what my dad would drink.
No, that was some rough stuff.
And when you're smelling, you actually want to like be a little slack jawed. Keep your mouth a little half open. We're gonna see how much dumb stuff I can make you all do.
I was going to say, this is just for video content, isn't it?
No, it helps with a process called retronasal olfaction. So
I'm totally into that.
if you think about like when you have a cold, you can't really taste anything, or when you had to take cough medicine as a kid, you'd plug your
Yeah.
nose. It's because a lot of your sense of taste actually comes from your sense of smell. And it's as you taste things, some of the flavor chemicals basically go up the back of your throat into your nasal passage and help you pick up the notes.
Okay.
So you just speeding that along.
The next thing, once you've kind of taken your smells on there, I like to do a mix of short sniffs and deep sniffs, by the way, but you don't have to, is your first sip. Anytime you're trying tasting spirits, but especially for the first drink of the night, you want your first sip to be as small of a sip as you can possibly manage. Like think of trying to just get one eyedropper's worth, not even enough to get to the back of your tongue.
That's it?
That's it. And the reason is ethanol is a poison. Your body has defense mechanisms against it. So if you just go and take a big swig, your body's not going to be able to pick up the flavors there because you've just told it there's a ton of poison here all of a sudden. There's nothing in nature that approaches 40, or I think some of this stuff gets up closer to 60% ABV, right?
Yeah.
That's, your body's not trained for that. So you need to kind of gently coax it in there and be like, it's okay. I've got this under control. This is on purpose. Just the smallest possible tiny
You might want
sip.
to tell this guy again.
All right, hit me up.
All right. So on your first sip, before you swig it back or anything, particularly the first sip of any distilled spirit you drink, you want it to be the smallest possible sip you can possibly take. Like not even enough to get into your throat, just to touch your tongue.
All right, I got you. Are we going?
Are we doing it?
Yeah. So just your tiny sip. And now we're going to let that sit for a minute, acclimate. Now what you're going to want to do when we do get to our next sip, smaller is still better. You don't want to take a huge sip. Having more in your mouth doesn't help you taste it better.
This one is sweet.
Yeah, sweet for sure.
Yeah.
You're going to want to hold it in your mouth, maybe move it around, get it on your gums, get it over your tongue, over the back of your tongue. Some people like to aerate. I don't necessarily recommend that because it makes it easy to aspirate it, and then you've got high proof alcohol in your lungs. That's bad. The official Society of Wine Educators guide for how to taste spirits recommends that you hold it under your tongue and lean your head forward. I think that is moronic because it just burns like hell and you don't taste anything. So I disagree with the Society of Wine Educators on that one.
Okay.
I can see why you smoke a cigar with this.
And it can help to chew it. If you think about it almost like food, you chew it, it'll help swish it over your tongue and get to the different taste buds.
I don't hate it.
All right. Hey. All right. So that's a first step win. So rye whiskey is same kind of program overall as bourbon, except that it has to be at least 51% rye. The rest of the grains can be anything you want. Still those virgin oak barrels. There's a bunch of other stipulations around like how much the proof you're allowed to distill it to, the proof you're allowed to put it into the barrel at, the proof that you're allowed to bottle it at, all that kind of stuff. But we don't need to get into all the geekies on it. But what do you think?
I mean, yeah, it's not bad.
It's sweeter than I was expecting. Like this one definitely has like almost like I know you said it was in rum barrels. It has almost like a rum after like taste.
It's super rich. Yeah. It's also super viscous. Like it's pretty heavy on your tongue. It coats your mouth a lot. Also, don't feel the need to finish anything if you don't want to. There's plenty of stuff to try. You can just give it all to Carl.
Carl's our spit bucket.
That's good. Yeah, so when you go wine tasting, a lot of times they'll tell you like spit it out. Or do they say to do the same with this?
They do. I don't.
Okay.
You can for sure. I think part of the reason I don't like doing that, or at least taking one sip that doesn't do that, is so much of what's described as the finish of a whiskey or of a spirit happens after you've swallowed it. And so I just think you lose this whole critically important part of the tasting experience if you skip that. And hopefully one of the things I want to prove, particularly with some of the older spirits on the table, is when I started getting into whiskey, all the reviews always rate things on the nose, which is how it smells, the palate, which is how it tastes, and the finish, which is what happens after you've swallowed it.
The upper, the midsole,
the outsole.
The outsole. And I always thought that, I was like, it's so weird that finish is one of the three things here, because it's just like the flavor disappearing. It took till I tried some better matured, better managed whiskeys where it's like, oh, actually, most of the experience can happen after the fact, which is kind of crazy because you're not used to eating anything or drinking anything where it's like for 20 minutes later, not only are you still tasting it, but the tastes are changing. And so this, I don't think accomplishes that, but hopefully some of the things on the table will be able to deliver that experience for y'all.
So if you go out drinking with your friends, are they like, oh gosh, we gotta get the good stuff?
I try so hard not to be that guy, and also not with the bar. Like, I don't want to be asking the bartender, like, how much is that bottle? How much is that bottle? And it's like, I'm either committing or I'm not committing. And in general, my drinking is I'm either going very high end or very low end. I don't really see the point of playing in the middle.
So sometimes I see people, I'll roll up and I'll see them wearing a shoe that I'll be like, oh, you're going to have a horrible experience. That's not a great shoe. You don't know it. I'm not going to tell you because who wants to hear right when you're starting to run that you're actually wearing a shoe that we probably panned or something like that. Or you're wearing a lifestyle shoe. And I'm like, you'd be feeling a lot better if you had a good shoe. When you see someone ordering something or getting something out of the bar, are there times where you're like, that was a bad call?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's always something redeemable in every whiskey I've ever tried. There's probably I've tried thousands. There's probably 3 that I'm like, that's just flat out bad. Like,
Okay, what are those?
I'm not gonna say.
Okay.
Boone's Farm.
Fireball.
Yeah.
Oddly, not even Fireball. There's a
Okay.
time and place, but yeah. So on the one hand, it's probably fitting what they're going for. On the other hand, I can probably look and be like, if that's what they wanted, I would love to just get them that instead.
That's the exact same thing.
Yeah. Okay, so for the next one, if we want to stay in rye territory, or we can go to bourbon. I normally would do bourbon first because it's a little sweeter. But let me get these and then I'll talk into the mic.
Okay, High West I've heard before. And then what's the other one?
That's Michter's.
Michter's.
We got High West and Michter's, and I pulled the Michter's for a specific reason. A little history lesson here. There's 2 broad styles of rye whiskey made in America. And rye is actually America's native spirit, not bourbon. People were making rye well before they were making bourbon. One style is called Monongahela rye for the Monongahela Valley in Pennsylvania. That's most of the rye that's released in the market. It means it has very high rye content. So you got to legally have at least 51%. That's normally 90, 95% rye. The other style, which is what we have here from Michter's, is called Maryland style rye. So I figured you all might appreciate getting to try some Maryland style. That's where they're cutting it basically as close to 51% rye as you can. So
What's the other thing? Is corn?
it's usually a mix of corn, wheat, and barley. There's almost always barley, and then the other ones come in varying ratios.
All right. And is Maryland even known for distilleries? I know Sagamore's here.
Back in the day,
Pikesville was from here, right?
that's one. I wanted to buy a bottle of that for this. That's one of my favorite, and that is a Maryland style rye.
All right. And it's not expensive, is it?
$60, 50, $60.
Oh, that's more than I even thought it was going to be. And then Sagamore, which is a local one. How's that one rate?
I've only had it a few times. I think the reputation's pretty good, but I actually don't know them personally. I don't know the whiskey
Sounds
super
like
well.
we're talking about the running shoes here.
Under Armour of whiskey.
Yeah, the Under Armour of whiskey, which it is.
Yeah, I know.
So this is the 2015 Michter's Barrel Proof Rye, which is one of their limited editions that they do. That means it's not diluted. So they just take it straight out of the barrel and bottle it. This one's at 57.6%, so pretty fiery if you want to go that lane.
I mean, I'm good for it. But when you go to these distilleries, and I've seen them on the 60 Minutes thing, where they pull a little thing out of the barrel and they taste it. Is there something about being there and being among the casks and the oaks that it just always tastes better?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. And that thing's called a thief that they use to get the whiskey.
Okay,
out of
that's
it. So there's our Maryland style. On the other side, this is a Monongahela style. High West is out of Park City, Utah, but they actually source their
Isn't that
whiskey.
weird? They don't even like alcohol out there.
Yeah, that's true. When this one was made, they still sourced their whiskey. They do now also distill. So a little fun fact a lot of people don't know about the industry is almost every craft brand, I don't want to say almost every craft brand, a very large number of craft brands actually all use the same liquid from the same place. They buy it from a distillery in Indiana. And a lot of them, High West included, will then put their own secret sauce on it. So they make it theirs. A lot of other ones, you're literally buying the same product just with a different label on it, and the price can be wildly different.
Kirkland.
So Kirkland stuff's good.
Right, but that's
legit.
just somebody else, right?
Yeah. So this is a really cool example of High West, I think, knowing that you're also not as much of a whiskey drinker might suit, where they took their rye and then they actually aged it in a barrel that they had previously used to age a Manhattan cocktail.
Yeah.
So even though it's just straight whiskey, it pretty much just drinks like a Manhattan cocktail,
That I like.
which
Yeah.
is pretty unique.
Think about it if you're listening to this podcast and running right now. How you're like, I'm going home.
Yeah, to all the hungover runners right now, I'm very
I
sorry.
did my 20 miles.
So either both pass, we can keep it moving, or
Michter's.
all right.
Wait, the High West is the one that tastes like a
Candy ball.
yeah.
Manhattan cocktail.
That one sounds better.
I'll try the Manhattan cocktail just because I will enjoy a Manhattan cocktail from time to time.
I'm gonna need to get some more glasses here.
I can grab them whenever.
So we've got 2 Manhattans, 1 Michter's.
Yeah, just a very tiny one for me. So you have to use a new glass for everything?
You should.
You don't have to, and we probably will end up reusing some.
Okay.
This is actually probably... Oh, bummer. Oh, man. I'm sorry, Carl. Getting gypped there. I can't solve this right now.
That's okay. I'll take the high west.
I'm very sorry about
You're
that.
good.
He's like, I'll settle for another shot of something. What just happened was he reached for the top of his bottle and the cork broke off inside the bottle, leaving Carl disappointed.
I forgot that they can't all see us. Yes. The cork broke.
Hey, did you want to trade?
Why?
Okay.
Is there less?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I didn't know if you wanted
They look very similar to me.
tiny.
Oh, there we go.
So remember, smell it, little sip, proper sip.
Oh, this is definitely, and I know nothing about smells, but this smells like vanilla, a little bit.
I'm like a little bit taste blind on vanilla,
Okay.
which is another reason bourbon's like a little less exciting for me.
A little Madagascar.
Ooh. Definitely not at the level where I'm like picking out the specific seed pods here. I gotta go to Thomas for notes.
Cedar.
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 Yeah.
Ooh, we've got a different whiskey that's big on cedar.
It is crazy because when I look at all these bottles and I think about whiskey, I just think they all taste the exact same. And just even these two are so significantly different.
Yeah.
This one feels like the alcohol hits a little bit faster.
It is higher, it's boozier.
Okay.
So this one actually is also cask strength, but High West always ends up low on their cask strength. So we're at 51.1%. And if you want to add water, we have this lovely little eyedropper.
I'll do a little.
And here's
Yeah, let's
the
try
thing with
this.
water. A lot of people think that the reason water opens up or smooths out a whiskey is because it dilutes it. Like that's a natural assumption to make. But really, you only want to add generally 1 or 2 drops to start, and you can keep adding if you want to. The way it smooths out a whiskey isn't by dilution. It's actually a chemical reaction that happens where the volatilization of fusel oils and esters in the whiskey is different from the volatilization of the ethanol itself. So when you add the water, it kind of covers up the ethanol while volatilizing some of the flavor stuff,
You want to try a drop?
which helps with that retronasal olfaction. It helps bring some of those top notes up into your nose and helps you experience those flavors.
We're really just in science class.
Yeah, well, that's what makes it fun, right?
That and the alcohol.
Told you I was the nerd in my family, you know?
I forgot you were the nerd. Okay.
It definitely, this one, it went from vanilla to cedar the more I drank it.
Is it not like cocktail-y much, or is it,
Let me see.
is there any like cherry or any, what's in a Manhattan? Vermouth? Getting a little bit of that sweetness.
Bitters.
What do you think? You're not on the mic, but
Sweet vermouth, yeah.
I get a little bit of cherry.
Carl gets the cherry.
I get a little sweet in there.
between the two, which one do you like better?
I mean, between the two, probably Angel Envy, actually.
All right, so Carl said that Angel Envy was between the two.
What's
He
weird is I
liked that.
kind of like the flavor of this one, maybe slightly more, but the harshness less.
And that's fair. The water hopefully
Yeah.
will help with that. That's totally fair. I think that the texture of a spirit is not discussed often enough. Like the weight it has on your palate, the viscosity, the way it coats your cheeks, all that kind of stuff, the amount of burn it has. And like sometimes you get the burn in your mouth or in your throat. That sucks. Sometimes you just get like a nice warm belly and you're just
Yeah.
happy, you know?
Is this coating your cheeks, Carl?
Carl's just been smiling the whole podcast.
His cheeks are coated.
Yeah. That's good, though.
All right. That's
All right. We can do bourbon. Didn't sound like anyone was all too excited.
I don't even
I
know.
like bourbon.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, you're talking to people who have no idea what you're
It
talking
would be
about.
like if you said to me, we could try different vodkas. That I know. But this I have no idea.
I'll do bourbon. I
Yeah,
like
let's
bourbon.
let's throw in the Weller.
Yeah, the Weller.
So Weller is from the Buffalo. W.O. Weller is from the Buffalo Trace Distillery. It's the same mash bill. So remember, that's the grains that go into the whiskey that gets made. It's the same mash bill and same program that Pappy Van Winkle goes through. Say that just to say, because that's kind of the name that everyone who knows bourbon a little bit knows about. But
We had a Pappy Van Winkle night one time.
so you're about to be disappointed because they sequester the best barrels to become Pappy, sequester the worst barrels to become something else. And
I
the
will
ones
put
that
it
are-
this way: at the point where someone was giving me Pappy, they could have been giving me gasoline. We were way past the point of enjoying fine liquor.
Well, let's go there. It's a wheated bourbon. So traditionally, you've got corn as your 51%. Most bourbons historically would have used rye as the secondary grain, and then the malted barley, which helps with the enzymatic process of fermentation. Won't get into that. Nerd corner's over. They decided to explore with using wheat, which is also what Maker's Mark does. Whereas rye, when distilled, is usually kind of spicy, kind of bold, maybe baking spices. Wheat is a little bit damp, a little bit dank, and very smooth. It's really round, so it softens out the whiskey and lets the sweetness of the corn shine a little bit more instead of adding more of that spice punch on the back end.
That sounds good. Now, is your wife into anything this much?
Whiskey.
She's also like that?
She has the most photographic memory of a palate. It's
Oh, wow.
amazing. And she didn't even know it until she met me. And then we started tasting stuff, and I was like, "You are a savant at this." And then I guess she got into it.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a nice way to share a hobby.
All right. Let me.
I cleaned out my glass.
Oh, perfect. Thank
So
you.
I just put a little water and switched it around, dumped
Oh,
it in
I
the
can do that.
other one.
Oh yeah, let me get some in there.
I'm gonna grab a glass for myself on this one
Right.
too.
Then you can dump it in this guy.
Thank you. Oh, this is from right around the corner.
What's that?
Y'all ever been to Jack Rose?
No.
It is a bar in DC that has the largest whiskey selection in the Western Hemisphere.
We don't get down to DC that often.
Despite it being pretty close, it feels very far
We don't
away.
get to the other side of Baltimore that often. And there's a bourbon?
Yep. Let me get back to the mic.
Sensor
So
feathers.
this is the older style of William LaRue Weller, W.O. Weller. It's their 12-year in the nice handle size.
Dude, that thing is a jug.
Yeah, back before this became really collected, this was well liquor, and so this was a $40 bottle when I bought it, and
What would that go for now?
yeah, just for shits, I tried. I don't know if I can swear.
Yes, you
just,
can.
Okay, just for kicks.
Hell yeah.
I looked up this vintage before I came up here, and at an auction, it was going for $1,100, which it is not at all worth.
That's much more than rail.
Wait, so just over time it goes from a well.
Just because it's collectible. People realize it's really good.
Okay.
And so Pappy also used to be the youngest Pappy when I went to London for the first time after I got into whiskey. It was still on the menu as their well liquor. And I was like, could I just get some of that? And they're like, ooh, we just changed it out. And I was like, yeah, that's understandable.
So this does have more of that Scotch aftertaste to me.
Scotch or butterscotch?
Like the peatiness, I guess.
So there shouldn't be any peat in this one.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Not say you're wrong, but it might be something that from the ethanol is presenting as a spice.
Like if I was gonna say IPAs have a certain bite to them, this has that bite, and I guess I associate that with Scotch more than.
I do actually get it's not the peat or the smokiness of it, but it has an edge for sure. And it to me is actually more reminiscent of either things that would be higher ABV than this, or blended Scotch whiskeys, which also use grain whiskey, which is Scotland's equivalent of bourbon, basically.
Do you like the smell of this one as much as the first two?
It doesn't have as much of a distinct smell, I don't think.
I liked maybe it's because we started with the first one, the Angel of Envy. I think I like that one, but the second would be the last one, and this would be third.
And I think that there's less character in this than the other two. Like the other two have a lot happening. This is a little more contained.
Maybe that's what it is. Now, Jameson is an Irish whiskey. Mm-hmm. Where's that land on your, or Redbreast or
Jameson or Irish whiskey overall?
Irish whiskey overall.
It's a little lower for me. I do really enjoy Irish single malts, but that's not what they're mostly known for. They're known for their single pot still, which uses a mix of malted and unmalted barley, sort of unique to Ireland. So that's like your Redbreast. Redbreast is actually pretty wonderful. The 12, the cast strength. I like the 18 more than the 21 personally. And I was disappointed by the 28, but really wonderful line of products. Usually if someone is looking for an Irish recommendation,
that's where you go.
I go Redbreast, yeah.
When we were in Ireland, the choice at the bar that we were at was either Guinness or Redbreast. Yeah. Like, we're like, do you have anything else? No.
Classic.
Yeah. And so the entire wedding party, because we were staying at this resort that had the bar, the entire wedding party was smashed the entire time. Like, there was no...
Just on Guinness and Redbreast.
It's because you got done with breakfast. You're like, could I get a coffee? Like, no. Like, Guinness or Redbreast. And you're like, okay.
They were on my working schedule, I guess. Is it all right for me to grab this water?
Yeah.
Cool.
That was for you. Oh. What's your favorite so far? Third?
Really?
I'm a bourbon guy, so I just like how smooth it goes down.
I didn't try the Angel's Envy today, but just because of the viscosity on it, I find that one smoother than this.
Yeah. That one's my favorite so far.
Which one? Angel's Envy?
Angel's Envy.
All right, you guys want to get into some crazy stuff?
Yeah.
So we will start. So we're going to go into Scotch, single malts. These are mostly, if not all, single barrel, single malt Scotch whiskeys. So the way I like to describe the difference between a single barrel and what you normally get, a product like, let's just say Glenlivet 12, every bottle of Glenlivet 12 has to taste exactly the same, right? They need to ensure that product consistency.
Starbucks.
Exactly. The blending process is crazy. They can't automate it. So they're literally tasting and blending by hand hundreds and hundreds of casks to get that exact same consistent
Came
profile.
in that job, Carl?
Just going through those warehouses.
What my
Like,
dad
you gotta pull
Glenlivet
somebody
12.
out. You got to pull somebody out and
ships
put them
are
back.
very
I was just going to ask you, like, your dad liked Glenlivet.
That was it, yeah.
That's the white label one with the 12 on it, right?
Yeah.
I thought
I don't
he
know if it's
also-
a white label.
It used to be a green bottle.
Yeah.
They changed it.
Yeah. I thought he also liked the more aged one. There was one that was, like, longer aged.
I don't recall.
All right. It was his rail drink, I think.
We are going to try a single barrel Glenlivet 12 in a little bit.
Okay.
But the way I like to compare the difference of single cask bottlings versus your official bottlings is think about a scatter plot. Nerd time again, real quick. You got your two axes, put whatever flavor you want on each end of each axis. Each barrel is just one dot on that whole scatter plot, right? That represents the whole potential of what that distillery can produce. When they take a bottle like a Glenlivet 12, they're just drawing a trend line on what they think the appropriate average of all of the flavors they can bring to the table tastes like. What we're getting here is we've just pulled one dot out, and you get to see, like, if you just taste that one combination of flavors in its richest, unfettered with style, this is what you're getting.
All right.
And real quick, just you were saying it's surprising how distinct these two whiskeys can be, that you always think of them being the same. One of the fun things with single barrels is it takes that to the furthest degree. I've done blind tastings where I'll take two products, same distillery, came off the still immediately, one after the other, were put in barrels from the same cooperage of the same size, the same wood source, same size, were matured side by side in a warehouse.
Same temperature,
everything was identical, and then were bottled immediately one after the other. So they were matured within minutes of length for one another, distilled within minutes of one another, controlled as much as you can. I'll pour them blind, and whiskey drinkers will say, "Oh, what two distilleries are these?" You're going, you literally could not have controlled the process more, and it's distinct enough that people can't even tell.
so it's like
crazy.
children.
It's like children. Yeah.
Same
All the
parents.
ingredients. Just
Like that one. Why'd that one come fucked up?
which one, Thomas?
Both of mine are perfect, but it happens.
So we're gonna start with one of my favorite distilleries. This is called the Imperial Distillery. It's packaged in the dumbest box of all time.
Very big fans of Star Wars, so
Yeah. Oh, this last night we were saying these are not the drams you're looking for.
there we go.
All right, this is broken, so I'm just gonna take that out of there. So Imperial is a distillery that closed in the 90s. It doesn't exist anymore. So
So we're drinking the past.
we're drinking the past. Any barrel that gets bottled of this is one fewer that exists in the world for the future. This was a barrel bottled exclusively for Sweden, so bought it while I was visiting my family over there. This distillery is really special to me because it messes with my brain. So the flavors are really bright, floral, fruity, light, like summery. But the texture of it is really dense, rich, and heavy. And so it's this like mind meld where you're going, things that feel like this aren't supposed to taste like this. And my brain has a hard time computing what's going on. So it's really fun.
All right. See if we can.
I'll start over here. And actually do a fresh glass if we can.
I cleaned mine out.
Oh, yeah.
Is that not
Mine's-
okay?
Mine's clean too.
That's all right. There you go.
Oh,
Carl,
yeah.
big
I
pour.
got the governor's
Don't
pour.
apologize there, sir.
No, you just heard there's no more of these bottles left.
But this smells very different.
You're drinking.
And this one's from an ex-bourbon barrel.
Wait, you think this one smells that different?
From the other ones.
This one smells lighter than the other ones.
It is. It's cask strength, so no water added, but it's still only 40.3%. So
Like this one doesn't even hit me in the nose. Like I think I could do a whole full.
Whole glass of this.
No, like put your nose up to it and not do it under the bottom lip. Like it doesn't have.
yeah, so you just want to start down there, and then you can bring it closer until you start to feel it burn a little bit. And if it never,
That's what she said.
I'm not taking notes, so I can't write
I
down.
know.
So I'm not editing anything out.
There we go.
This one's not for me.
really.
Yeah.
So what is about it you don't like?
I could guess what it is, but you go ahead, Meg.
I don't know. It tastes old.
It is old.
Okay, well,
That's fair.
like
Like an
Too
old
dusty?
person.
yeah,
Yeah.
like dusty.
So I think it's 27 or 28-year-old single malt. They don't all get that just from being aged, but one of the takeaways I do actually want to have from this is that older is not always better and more expensive is not always better. So a lot of people assume that, and the most expensive and the oldest single malt I've ever had is like not even in the top 20, probably not even in the top 50 I've ever had. Right, so it's like cachet.
The reason why I was thinking you wouldn't like this is when Ian used to pour us his single malt whiskeys. This was leaning towards his preference.
This isn't as smoky. I
We'll
feel
get there.
Yeah,
I like that sound smoky.
yeah.
There's some good smoke on the table here.
Like
take your word.
this tastes like mothballs. Would I assume if you would eat those?
So you don't get I get really bright fruit with this, like really juicy,
Covered in mothballs.
covered in mothballs. I mean, the little Driscoll's was sitting in a drawer for a month, but
The second sip was a little better.
it does have a lot of age to it though. There's
Yeah.
no way around that.
It's like I think of a barn when I'm drinking this, like an old barn.
I get the stuff like grass.
Yeah, hay maybe.
Hey,
Hey. That's all in there though. And I think with tasting notes, I used to think that like sommeliers and stuff, they're full of it. What I've realized is, one, there is a lot of poetic license. Like lean into it if you think it's there. Just say
but if
it.
everything tastes like chocolate and leather, then they're faking it.
No, that's also true. It's, whatever any individual's tasting in that
I
moment.
feel like it's like art. Like you can say anything and people have to accept it because it's art.
When we were in Paso Robles, we were doing a wine tasting, and someone kept saying, "Oh, it's very jammy, very fruit forward," and it was like every bottle they had. I was like, "Arigato."
Let me guess. This one's gonna be
Yeah.
jammy and fruit
Try
forward?
this one. Oh, jammy, fruit forward. I'm like, you're just drunk at this point.
So not your style. Sorry to hear.
No, it's okay. I mean, I'm surprised they're not all.
Carl Thomas.
I do like it.
I'm still leaning towards, and I don't know if it was because it was the first one. I liked what was happening with the Angel's Envy, even though it might have been a little too sweet.
All right, fair.
But I like this one. I think this one would grow on me. I think what I would need with this one, like if you put this with one of those giant artisanal ice cubes and then threw in a little orange rind, I think I would like this. Would that be taboo?
Yes and no. I mean, my philosophy is drink it however you like it. I will say I'm normally not a big fan of ice. I would recommend water, dilute it instead.
Okay.
Because the way it changes what you taste is different. So if you're drinking, that's a great strategy. If you're trying to be tasting, adding the water, again, helps bring out those flavor compounds. Adding ice just numbs your tongue and hides flavor. So if you're really trying to like dig into what's going on, ice probably isn't the way. If you're just trying to have a good time, do whatever you want.
All right. I like good times. Let's see here.
Okay, I am going to say fresh glass.
All right.
Yeah, so we're going to do a Glenlivet now.
All right. This one should be familiar to you, Meg.
Yeah.
It might not be. So thank you, Carl.
Well, if you take a whole
Thank you.
like a factory of this and you take one barrel from one and one from another, it could have all different kinds of
Exactly. And again, this is just one single barrel. So
I'm just being
Which bottle are
smartass.
you going for?
it's this guy
Okay.
right here, a little signatory.
That's Glenlivet?
So it's an independent bottler of Glenlivet. So they buy barrels from distilleries all over Scotland, and they're allowed to bottle it under their own brand. This is actually the history of single malt and really of Scotch whiskey was independent bottlers. Back in the day, they didn't have brands that sold products. The first exported single malt was Glenfiddich in the 60s. Before that, only way to get it was through an independent bottler. And even if you look at like Johnny Walker, where did Johnny Walker come from? John Walker and Sons Grocery. He was a grocer and importer who would then get these barrels and make his own blends. And people started liking his blends enough that he started commercializing them. Same with John Dewar and Sons, right? So Signatory, they're a newer independent bottler, sort of. They're from started in the 80s. And I have worked for both Signatory and Glenlivet at the corporate level Glenlivet. And I can say all of the best Glenlivets I've ever had actually came from Signatory.
So explain, like, what do they do? Do they mix it with something else?
They could. In this case, they haven't. It's more about either moving the liquid from one cask into another cask. So in this case, we're working with a first fill sherry butt. So that's a 500-liter cask that previously held sherry. Fun fact on sherry, about 90% of the sherry produced in Spain is never intended for consumption. It's just used to treat barrels to age Scotch in.
Wow.
So a lot of those are low quality. They're meant just
Like cooking sherry?
Yeah, they end up taking the sherry and either using it for cooking or turning it into vinegar. But the barrels, they basically put the sherry in for the minimum amount of time to have an impact, and then they ship it to Scotland. Or some barrels that are used for proper sherry for consumption will hold the sherry for 20 years, and it's really high quality sherry. That's obviously a much more expensive and more sought after sherry experience. So one thing they could do is take it from its original cask and put it into something like that.
All right, cool.
All right, so no color added on this one, but still really rich. Dark. We're at 46% with this one. It is not cask strength, so they've diluted it.
Oftentimes I'll ask, Carl and I will travel and we'll be doing something and I'll be like, can you believe this is your job? Carl, how's your job today?
It's pretty good.
There you go.
That's a fresh one there.
I'm going to pass on this one. I do have to drive today, so I'm being selective on what I taste. Yeah, so this, it's probably pretty different from most of the Glenlivets you've tried. It's not chill filtered, which is a process of cooling the whiskey until it gets cloudy and then stripping those fats out of it. The main reason,
I like this one.
Yeah?
That's good.
Everyone's looking.
I thought we'd get a pass because of Ian, Meg.
We'll see. I need to do another sip.
Yeah,
but
she just took the first one.
yeah,
The baby sip.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot richer. This should have a pretty solid finish on it. That first fill sherry talking about jammy and fruits, you should be getting some dry fruits in here. You should be getting some red fruits in here.
I like this one.
Sherry
Is this available like your local liquor store? Or are you giving me something that I now will never get again?
Not this exact barrel, but they do consistently have a single barrel Glenlivet from Signatory available from a sherry cask. Yeah, and I can always help y'all find stuff. Or I've got like tons of these. If I can just donate one, I'm happy to do that.
No, we don't have to do that yet.
Yeah, let you try and find it first, and then when you give up, call me. We can work something out. My wife would really appreciate it if you took one.
What size shoe are you?
11 and a half.
Oh, dang, you missed out.
Yeah.
One size too big.
Damn.
I can lose some toes. It's fine.
I don't know.
Tell me what's holding you back.
I think like the aftertaste.
Finish.
I like the finish. I like the initial flavor, and then I don't like it.
Prime candidate for spitting. You'll be in heaven.
There we go. Yeah.
Do you know what is it about? Is it too boozy? Is it just too astringent and dry?
Yeah, not too boozy, but too like I guess astringent and dry is the right word. Like it's.
Do you know where I feel it?
Huh.
Some, like you said, you feel in your chest.
Yeah.
This one I feel in my throat.
Yeah.
And so it's a little harsher in the throat.
A little scratchy up there.
Yeah.
That's not the best.
We should get our pipes out.
This would be a good.
This is solid.
Yeah. This is the kind of thing. So if you have a whiskey like this, you take the cigar and you dip it. You dip it in there.
Yeah.
That's
We know
my
somebody
friend's
who does
dad
that,
taught me
yeah.
that move.
I do think we should start a pipe smoking club.
That with the whiskey and some watches.
Yeah.
It's a great room for it.
Yeah,
This looks
right?
like a little pipe room.
We could do a nice like built-in sofa around the walls.
Yeah.
I like it.
You have to do the
Believe in the
voice that you
booze.
used to intro Carl, though. That jazzy voice, that was good.
Welcome to the Watch and Whiskey Show.
That was, yeah. Good vocal fry.
We're gonna pass the time with some stuff that's from the past times.
Drinking. Very good.
Are we getting close to your favorite?
We can do that next. Yeah. If we want to.
Oh, where's the banana cream pie?
So I'm going to be honest. I don't know that you guys are going to like that one.
All right, then
Does it taste like bananas?
It does. It's kind of like bananas. It's got a little bit of like a bready, cardboardy thing going on.
Mm.
Cool.
Yeah, I can. That's the one with the pink top right in front of you if you just want.
this one.
Yeah. So this is from the Scotch Malt Whiskey Society. It's a really cool.
That sounds made up.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's a members club, so you can only buy their bottles if you are a member. Yep. And they do the same thing where they buy barrels from distilleries all over the world, and they mature them at their incredible warehouse in Scotland. And then you can pour for yourself, my man. And then they sell them. Go for it.
Just right out the bottom.
And then they sell them just to their members. And so I've been a member for almost 10 years. It was like one of the best educations I
They
got.
let 13-year-olds in there?
They do.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
cool.
They're
It's Europe.
European.
It's European,
It's
yeah.
yeah.
Megan, your father was European.
He sure was.
When did you have your first beverage?
I mean, he was always telling me to try his drinks when I was like, I don't know, 8. Specifically, if I was
And
sick
this
or had
led
a
to house
cold.
parties.
If I was sick or had a cold, he'd always be like, "Here, just have some whiskey."
I did get like a blackberry, whatever that liquor is. Like we had a cold.
Like a liqueur.
Yeah, like my grandma would. Some blackberry,
Hot toddies.
something like that.
I think I was 7 and it was midsummer in Sweden. Got like a little half shot of aquavit. And I remember clearing the table and like my balance was clearly not.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about what this was, what to expect. I remember walking back to the kitchen. I was like, I feel weird. This is a little off kilter here.
Wait, so you
I
grew
feel
up in
weird and I
Florida,
like
but
it.
you're from Sweden.
My mom's from Sweden. My dad's from New York.
Okay.
Grew up in Florida, but spent a few months in Sweden every
Okay.
year. My
That's
family
cool.
over there. Yeah.
Bananas?
No, he's not into it. You got the cardboard taste.
It's great. It does have a cardboardy thing.
Yeah.
It's cardboard forward.
So if like
Banana comes first, and it disappears, and it's straight to cardboard.
not knowing again what we were going to do, the idea here, I had to whittle down to this. So it was crazy. This took a lot of angst trying to figure out what to bring here. But the idea was So like that one and this one were supposed to be contrasted because that one's so fruity and bright, and that one's kind of like muggy and bready. But they're both made from the exact same ingredients.
What would have been funny is if you brought a bunch of different bottles but poured the same stuff in all the bottles.
How'd you
And
know
you're
I did
like-
that?
You're like, hey, what does this one taste like to you? And everyone, we made up a different.
And then afterwards, you're like, you idiots.
Yeah, you dumb. Big dummies.
Should we do the crazy Japanese one?
Let's do it.
Before people have had too much to drink and palates go nuts. So
This one screwed my palate up.
Oh, you're done.
let's get some fresh glass.
Banana pancakes.
That was not it.
No. Carl has regrets.
No, I never regret it. Just like trying new things.
Hey, I like that. Yeah. Quietly off camera, Carl is bending over and spitting out the contents of his glass. We are about to try a Japanese whiskey from 1958 that people forgot about. And it's going to be pretty insane because I would guess each one of these shots is at least worth $1.
$1.
True.
Yeah, at least. I said I
Oh.
start. How many yen is that?
The nose on this thing.
I know Megan's. This is gonna be your.
So this is like incense, sandalwood,
Yeah.
tropical fruits. It's weird.
a chick with Birkenstocks.
Some Lululemons on it.
That's back in style.
I know. We had Emily Abate was doing a big old Birkenstock party at the Boston Marathon.
They were decorating their.
Is that for
Birkenstocks.
recovery, or are they out running in those now?
You wouldn't run them. Yeah,
I think
You
it was,
could.
it was fashion
yeah.
somehow.
I'm a little surprised they haven't tried to break into the running market.
Like with what? Like cork bottom shoes?
Just changing something. I mean, like Tevas has gone into it a
That's
little
true.
bit, so
I don't know about this one.
yeah, it's a lot there.
Definitely some smoke. You're gonna say no smoke, but to me, whatever.
This
that-
one has that asphalt taste.
Yeah.
So
Like
we taste.
pavement.
I don't think this is actually a smoked whiskey, but everyone gets a sense of smoke from this one. I don't know where it comes from.
I mean,
Japan.
Japan. It does.
You said Japan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't know where the smoke comes from. The whiskey's from Japan. And yeah, this distillery was in Fukushima. So they had, after the earthquake, they tore down all the remnants and donated the land for
Oh, geez.
recovery and people there.
So Meg, this one you talked about the finish on the last one being a little bit tingly in the throat. How do you find this one?
It's harsh from the start. Yeah.
So this is like your Boston Marathon.
This is pretty much it.
Yeah, this is one that's just kind of crazy and a once in a lifetime thing. I don't think it's worth its price.
Well,
But now
I-
we can say we've tried it.
But now you can
I
say-
mean, it is kind of cool to think 1958, something that's been around longer than all of us, and now it didn't know its fate, made it all the way to the U.S. It's sitting here at the Drop Podcast.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, if you trace the bottle back all the way and its origins, it's like bizarre.
So
I'm sure it had higher hopes, but
I have to ask, what would you rather have? 1 bottle of this or 9 of those Segway scooters that you were on in Boston?
I could start a gang with 9 Segway scooters, and we could steal as many bottles as we wanted of any liquor because 9 people on Segways. You don't know. We'll all split off. It'll be
clean
like, did
getaway.
you see the Italian Job when they all go in different directions in the minis? That'll be like us on Segways.
What would you call
Boston
it?
Street.
Let's think here. I like alliteration, so I'm trying to think of
Yeah.
something with Segway. Getaway Segway.
Ooh.
No, I don't think
The
that's
Segway
it.
Getaway.
Yeah, Segway suckers. You know?
Workshop.
Yeah, we'll have to work on that one.
Put you on the spot there. Sorry about that.
It's all right. They're electric. They were fun though, and I have an Engway scooter which is just as fun, probably a third of the price. Maybe not quite the finishing details that the Segway had, but just as fun. And it was free. So
How'd you get that free?
I review stuff.
Oh, cool. Thought maybe the Segway gang stole it and then you just defected.
Dude, I'll tell you what, if Segway wants us to review their scooters, we'll be happy to do so. Carl definitely wants one.
Yeah.
I got on that free Amazon where they send you stuff to review. All the stuff was garbage. I got out of that program. It was not worth it even for free.
I mean, that is the problem we don't talk about. When you get, like, Megan's trying to get me to get rid of stuff when they come to the house. Can you imagine if every new bottle of whiskey that you brought in, your wife was like, you got to get rid of that? I'm going to guess what you would do is drink it and to get rid of it. But yeah, so like we try to, when something comes in, something goes out, but we're not that successful.
That's a big thing that's helped me slow my buying is I instituted a rule that I can't open something until I finish something.
Oh, that's good.
And
Yeah.
because I've got, I don't know, literally hundreds of bottles that are open with one pour out of them. It's like, okay, yeah, that's not sustainable. I can't do that.
Because you didn't like it?
No, just I'm like interested in trying things.
Yeah, okay.
It's like, well, I'll never get to try this again. And now I have the bottle.
I would think it's like we pretty much are. We bring a bottle home, finish the bottle, go get another bottle. I would think it would be difficult to have something that you like so much of just available all the time.
It makes it easy to have so many other things that are also great. Because I can be like, okay, I know I kind of want to make sure I'm not finishing that too fast. Let's just go from these other 70 options.
70, wow. Dude, I got to see this bar.
Oh, you've seen the picture of my
Yeah.
office at
Okay,
least.
yeah.
Which is open, by the way, if you all ever happen to be in Charlotte.
I have a feeling he's driving down.
Yeah. Hey, come on down.
Help you clear out some of those bottles.
Mhm.
You're going to be able to open a lot of new bottles.
That would be an enormous help.
Does it get to a point where you're just like, I've got too much?
I think so. Yes and no. I think if I were still single, that point probably would have been further afield of where it is being
But
married.
the fact that you guys enjoy it together.
Yeah, that helps. And also just like have different priorities that are not,
Does she run?
She doesn't. She doesn't.
What does she do for fun?
So she is an incredible, well, she has a lot of stuff for fun. She's an incredible cook. She's an incredible baker. She's an incredible designer. She's an incredible artist. She's really incredible at pretty much everything. But her biggest, I would say, hobby is that she like thrifts stuff remarkably well and is able to, both for herself and like for others.
Oh, wow.
We went thrifting in London.
Yeah, I would think Charlotte's a hard place to go thrifting.
I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
Really, I don't know. I do the running on my own. She does the thrifting on her own. Been a few times, but yeah, she always thinks that I just want to leave. And I'm like, I think it's fun just like watching you do your thing. I'm cool. I'll hang out.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the thrifting that we did.
Yeah, it's fun.
Did you find anything good?
Yeah, I got a like a polo jacket. I'm not sure that it's not a knockoff. Like I'm not 100% sure that it's not a fake polo jacket. I don't know.
You just
why.
have to believe it is, and then it is.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robbie got himself a women's London fog jacket.
There's some barber jackets there too, right?
That's what I was trying to find.
A barber jacket.
Yeah. As you started talking, I was like, oh wait, yeah, I heard this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to get a
another
Barber
one.
racing jacket, but they only did
Oh,
And he didn't have enough box tops. Meg, did you get something?
No.
Can you imagine box tops for cigarettes? Like,
Then cartons, like when I was in boarding school, cartons were, I mean, it was basically prison, but you could trade for stuff if you had cigarettes, yeah.
currency, baby.
yeah. So this next one's gonna be my favorite. I'm a little worried that it's probably not your link 'cause it's also old and quite like that one that you said you did. So it's even older and stylistically similar
Bring it on.
to that one.
But this is your favorite.
But yeah, this
If you were going to race today, this is the one you're using.
this is the one I'm using. Yeah,
All right.
I'm standing
do
up
This
for
is
this
your
one.
alpha flyer.
Do we need fresh glasses for this since this is like the apex
Yeah,
predator?
I would probably grab some freshies for this one.
Carl's at a seat that he can easily pop up and down from.
So
Now, do you collect these glasses or how do they, because they're all the same, but they have different logos on them.
yeah, I didn't have enough just blanks, so I had to grab some of the logoed ones.
Is this like a standard thing for whiskey?
Yeah, it's called a Glencairn glass. It's like the preferred shape of a glass for tasting whiskey.
Okay, for those listening, I don't even know how to describe this
Tulip shape.
Tulip. That's a good shape.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
exactly what it is.
It's a tulip-shaped glass
come up with
with
that.
a short chode underneath.
We're leaving that in.
Okay.
A lot of beer glasses are like that too.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So not drinking, just tasting.
Yeah. I mean, you can drink out of anything, you know. So
Sure.
I think you could fill this with enough liquor to drink out of it.
it can hold 6 ounces.
There you go.
And normally you just drink this neat, right? Like nothing, no ice, no.
Yep, I would. But people can.
So is
Do
this
whatever.
like
Do whatever.
today is Saturday. We're recording this on a Saturday. Part of the reason because we knew we would get no work done afterwards. if this was a Saturday and you had nothing to do and it's snowing in Charlotte for some reason and your fireplace is crackling, this is what you're pulling out.
No,
The whole setup and
it
everything.
was such a good setup too. But that's such an idiosyncratic moment, and this is not like a fireside cold day whiskey. I'd take this in summertime.
Oh. Okay.
Or
Ooh,
spring.
I like this smell.
So this is a 47-year-old Tomaten, which is a Speyside distillery. They do like a longer fermentation. At one point, they were the biggest distillery, single malt distillery in Scotland. I love this. Is so like passion fruit, tropical fruit for me. It's different from most of the whiskeys I've ever tried, and for its age, it doesn't drink as old as it is in a good way.
I think it almost smells like a cologne.
I'd wear
I
that.
would wear it, yeah.
Yeah.
There's like a cedar smell. I know I said cedar before. It's not
Yeah.
that I'm saying it's fruit forward and
It's
jammy.
jammy, dude. It's
Yeah. But no, it really does have like a cedar.
And you'll notice it's like in a garbage bottle. I was working with one of
Oh.
their reps, and he had $250,000 of whiskey in his luggage that he flew over in a
Jeez.
duffel bag to do tastings with people. And this was among them. And he was like, "It's not worth checking the bag to bring it back. If you want it, you can have it." But he was like, "I'm not going to go get a fancy bottle just to pour stuff to sample." So this was like pulled right out of a barrel. Another just unreleased version of it.
This, I can understand why you like it.
I actually don't hate this.
This,
Yeah.
okay, am I going to be crazy?
It doesn't taste as harsh or smoky or.
I taste pears.
I got a lot of pears on that one too, but definitely. Yeah, apples, pears, orchard fruits, super common.
I like this one. I like it's like pears with pepper pear.
It doesn't. I don't
pig?
get the old mothball taste like I did with the other one. This
No,
tastes
it's
different.
It's more lively. That's why I think like this is more
So
summery.
this is another one we can't get.
So you can get basically this. They've released sister casks of this from the same idea, same warehouse, same maturation, same fill date. You can get that, but it's like depending where you buy it between $4,500 and $7,500.
Oh, okay. You're not
Okay.
getting that.
What? How much?
$4,500.
Come again? So wait. So you're sitting on your porch now. Lightning bugs are flying around the summer grass. You're rocking back and forth in your white, porch swing. And this is what's in your hand.
No, I'm just kidding. This time, yes. This time, yes.
Drinking out of a jar.
It's like, if there weren't fireflies, maybe, but given the fireflies, that's a variable. We gotta mix it up.
All right.
No, I would definitely be drinking this then. Yeah, if I could. This is for me one. Not that I did pay that money, not that I have the money to pay for this, but it's one of the few super expensive whiskeys I've ever tried that I'm like, yes, that's worth its price. Like that's a fair price for that whiskey.
$4,500.
What does that equate to for the? Would you say that was like a half an ounce, a quarter ounce?
Probably, yeah, like a quarter, third of it. You got a little bit of a generous pour on that one, so we'll give you a half ounce.
All right, I'm gonna go half ounce. That bottle would hold like a typical wine bottle. I don't know how many ounces that is.
It's
Let's do some math here.
It's 16.9 fluid ounces.
Okay, so if I got a half an ounce
So that's
out of a $4,500 bottle, how much is this?
That's a
9 times.
solid, expensive pour.
4,500 divided by, it's about a $90 pour.
Boom! And people complain about shoe prices.
Honestly.
That's how I've been justifying the shoes. So I
Well,
just want-
somebody said to me today, they were talking about they're like Satisfied. Aren't their jackets like 300? I'm like 300 and up, and they're like, I just can't bring myself to spend that much, at least on something that's not a running shoe. I'm like, your running shoe lasts 200, 300, 400 miles, 500 tops.
You can wear that
A jacket
for years.
lasts for like 10, 15 years, and you're
Until it goes out of style.
but then you just shoot some holes in it. Yes.
Call it mock tent.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know. Like, do you think, of course, stuff will come in and out of style, but like for a basic windbreaker jacket style for running,
No,
you can get 10 years out of it.
Yeah, easy, for sure. Quality over quantity, the leather boots conundrum.
There you go.
How long does a bottle last you?
I have bottles that I opened in 2012 still, which is not the right way to do it because then they're oxidizing.
Okay.
So
Our bottles usually last a week. Yeah. I don't think we've had a Tito's bottle that's made it longer than 2 weeks.
but you also don't have 800 open at a time.
That is true. It would make a difference.
Yeah, that changes things.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be better about finishing. Katie, if you're listening, I'm working on it. With your help, my love. We can do
Katie, I
it.
think you need to set up on that porch, get them fireflies out.
No, well, this is one we should keep. We got to get rid of the other stuff.
Yeah, no, that one's nice.
Yeah, I like that one. I can see why that's your favorite. I hate you because now I like something that's very expensive. And I'll go get like a bottle of Doers. And it won't-
Well,
Jameson, it was actually like if I buy whiskey because I don't know anything about it, Jameson, because of our trip to Ireland, like that would just be my standard.
you were asking me before, do I ever see someone buy something and then be like, oh, they should have gotten this instead? One thing I genuinely love doing is a passion of mine is helping people find that value. So if you're ever at the store, you can just take a picture of the shelf from 10 feet back and be like, what should I get here? I'm happy to just be like, oh, these are the ones at those prices that's
a
what you should
solid-
go
This
for.
guy's number.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got
That's
it.
it. Carl and I are going shopping right after this.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was like actually part of how I got into this was just helping people find stuff that they would like and helping them find that value. It's so fun because some stuff isn't great, some stuff really is, and they're the same price. Why not help people get the stuff that's really great so they
See, I love that.
That's
Yeah.
what we do here.
Yeah, we try to.
We try to.
Carl's not on mic, but he's saying it's the same thing that we do here. Maybe you heard that from
My
far,
mic.
far away.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a shame that your stuff hasn't been picked up here.
Oh,
It might be a little bit in there.
I hope
Yeah.
so.
yeah.
Carl was talking a lot of shit.
I didn't think it'd be as vocal because
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have just brought your mic over here.
I know it's right here. I should
Oh.
just plug it in. Whatever, dude.
All right, so how do we wrap this up?
I'll ask.
What do you want people to take away from this?
A slight buzz.
Yeah, I mean, I think hopefully people realize that you can really learn a lot about anything and you can find passion in almost anything. And for me, people think about drinking and it's usually negatively associated. And it was really funny talking to my dad. He's a doctor. And like after like my body image issues, after going through depression, after going through therapy and getting more into whiskey and stuff, my dad, who's a doctor, was like, I'm so happy you found whiskey. Like this is such a healthy such a healthy interest for you. And
He
it's-
wrote you a prescription?
they used to do that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. So, I think you need to obviously be responsible. You need to know how to manage it and do it in healthy ways and everything. But it's such a cool hobby to explore. And I'm sure it's the same way for people who
Well, I
like
guess
Funko Pops or
I
whatever.
have a question for you. So a lot of times people get into running and they find there's a community of people wrapped around running, and that's part of the thing that keeps them involved in the sport is that they build friendships and community through the sport. I'm guessing the same thing happens in whiskey in this pursuit that you have where you're at this level where you're probably making friends and connections, not necessarily because you just like a party or getting intoxicated, but it's an appreciation for the process and the build and the whole, I don't know what you would call it, but the world of whiskey and stuff. So is that something that has tied you into it?
Multiple people were invited to my wedding that I met through a whiskey bar or that I met through a whiskey industry contact. And absolutely, like really good close friends came out of it. It's actually an incredibly supportive community in a way, hopefully that this was. Like I've rarely encountered, there's some people just like collect and hoard and they don't actually drink anything. They're speculating to try and resell it or they treat it like an investment, and that's fine. That's like a different category of person. But people who are really into the liquid side of whiskey. I've never met anyone who isn't excited to share what they have with other people. Everyone's like,
That would be the tough thing. Like, even if you have an expensive bottle, it's like, it's not fun if only you get to taste it. Like, you'd want, like, that's the same thing with shoes. Like, I love it when we get a new shoe or something like that, but I'm even more excited when I'll run into someone, they're running in the shoe, maybe because maybe we recommended it or something, and you talk to them, and they're like, yeah, I love this shoe. And you're like, yeah, I thought you might, you might like it, and recommend it to a friend, and, being able to give them something that brings them more enjoyment in the sport.
it's part of what happened here. I was like, all right, I got to bring out the big guns, right? Like, I want to show up with good stuff here. And it ends up in kind of this funny situation where I've got a lot of stuff that's like quite good, but not great. I've got a lot of stuff that's great, and I've got a lot of stuff that's not very good. The stuff that's not very good, that gets used in cocktails. That's like easy to get rid of. I can bring it to parties and leave it. I don't care. The stuff that's really great, someone comes over and they're like, yeah, I don't like whiskey. I'm like, oh, let me show you something really good to try and change your mind. Someone comes over who does like whiskey. I'm like, great, let me show you something awesome that you've never gotten to try before. It's all the stuff that's like, yeah, that's pretty good. That just never gets, there's no time that I'm like excited to share that. And that's the stuff that just sits around. What shoes would that be? If
Those are the boring daily trainers. That's the ghosts.
I think the hardest thing about what we do is because we get access to the Pinnacle product, when you get the standard product, there's not a lot of excitement for it. So it's like, I understand where it fits in the, the shoe matrix. You need to have a daily trainer. You need to have something for people that maybe are only running 15 miles a week. They go to the gym. Cheers. They go to the gym. They do their 3-mile run. Maybe it's on the treadmill. They don't need all the bells and whistles. They just need something they can get their workout done in. But then when you get into the nuance, and like I could tell you, like, okay, somewhat like what you're doing with the bottle, I could be like, you have $150 to spend. I can give you a great shoe for $150. And there's a lot of shoes that you can get that are crap shoes at $150. But if you want to spend a little more, we can get into something a little more exciting. And then, okay, you're really into the sport now, and you're investing, and you're spending hours running a week, and it's important to you. I got the shoe for you up here. And then you go into race day stuff, which then just gets bonkers. And it used to be very few manufacturers were able to provide you with a race day shoe, where now it's gotten to the nuance point. Like for like Megan tasting, she had like a smoky taste, she likes this or something. I can give you a race day shoe that's a little wider. I can give you one that's a little, and you're not losing much in performance. But like, oh, you're a heel striker, this one's going to work out better for you. You're a 4-foot striker, that one's going to work out better for you.
I wonder, does it happen in shoes with people that you interact with? For me, it's like, oh, I wish I had known what I know now. I wouldn't have bought these 50 things. There are people like, oh, I've just got these pairs of shoes that I thought they'd be, they were exactly what I needed at that moment, but that moment was so fleeting before I got to the next level where now it's just not even something I'm interested in anymore.
Yeah, and I also think that, I mean, Meg, you can talk about this. When we've been doing this for so long that we've seen the trends come and go of stuff that we thought was important. Like, I think one of the trends we're going to see moving forward is how plates are used in shoes. And I think that we're going to start seeing it pulled back more.
Like more, like you were saying with Adidas, maybe go into like a ring where it's more for stability instead of propulsion, or just out.
That's still, I would consider a plate. Like, what I'm talking about is like when we have like the Light Strike Cloud Monster Hyper 3.
Light spray.
Yeah. Different brand. I've had some whiskey. Anyway, I'd probably get it wrong even if I didn't. But anyway, that shoe achieves what a shoe with a plate is trying to achieve. And I even think the Hyper Boost Edge from Adidas, speaking of Light Strike, but that shoe doesn't need a plate. And so I think for a while there, we were like, race day has a plate. Let's do a second tier. Let's put a plate in it because people will assume that means performance. And I think we're going to start sliding away from that, and you're going to see combinations of foam.
Are they moving away for economic reasons? Because is it just to make it easier for the consumer to figure out which shoes to use? Like, what's the incentive for the the shoemaker to move away from including plates.
Well, I think right now there's an incentive to include them because in the consumer's mind that means tech. Like you're
Right.
getting some tech in there. Oh, it has a plate. That must mean it's better. And right now there's a value associated to that. What I think we're seeing is as the foams have gotten better and the tuning of foams have gotten better, the state is just a stabilizer in something like a daily trainer or an up-tempo shoe. So if you don't need it, it doesn't need to be there. And I think that they're creating shoes now that have the ability to give you what you want from a plated shoe. So like say, take a really soft foam, you put a plate in it, it kind of gives it some stability. So maybe tune the foam a little bit firmer, but it still has that soft rebound and energy return, and you don't need a plate.
We'll see.
That's a great answer. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Megan and I don't think we disagree on this, but like there's shoes that you love that don't have a plate.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I just gravitate towards ones with plates, I think, typically.
She is also the queen of Kush. So
Yeah. And high stack. Unlike you, I hate the ground. Don't need to strengthen my feet.
she's got the weakest feet. They're little nubs, actually.
What about do you have like the strongest ankles? That's the other problem for me is
I think I do because, yeah, the really high stack, I don't need anything to be stable.
I've never seen Megan twist her ankle.
Don't sit.
That's fake
Yeah.
wood. It's fake wood.
oh
No,
no.
I think it is real wood.
Is it real wood?
Yeah, it's real wood.
The-
Yeah, I think it was what's the one? Anyway, yeah, Megan. I've never she runs trails. She does it all. Cheers.
Cheers.
I've never. Yeah, have you ever?
Yeah, no, I've fallen on trails and stuff before.
But
But
twisted
not,
your ankle?
No, not really. Not on the road.
Yeah, you're not in the Carl Thomas and Robbie
Yeah.
crew.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't got the cankles.
We need them poles.
All right. Is there anything else you want to share before we close this off?
I don't think so. Hoping to just get back to running, and maybe
Yeah.
if we get a chance to talk again, we can actually talk more about running, maybe less about
I
whiskey.
thought we got covered running quite well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we tied it all in.
Yeah,
Weaved
we
it
did
all
bring it back.
together.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, thanks for making the drive. Thanks for sharing all these whiskeys with us.
My pleasure. This
Yeah.
was super fun.
Yeah.
I have to say, I'm feeling pretty melty.
Give a good stretch, got my laces tied. My trusty podcast by my side. If you wanna tuck run, it's the place to be. Yeah, it's the drop, D-R-O-P.